disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
Wait.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr.BDA, and I'm glad that everybody could be on board for this one. Flying solo for today, for the moment rather. We'll see what happens within a couple of more minutes. See if more people start coming by. If they don't, we'll see what happens. But for the moment, thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget, tonight's episode, or this evening's episode, will be about Parallel Universes Part 2, which we barely scratched the last time. And also, we'll start off with a couple of other little subjects, things that happened. There was some boxing last night, in case anybody caught it. Before we do that, let's get the business out of the way. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Check out the last video we did on Vasyl Lomachenko and his upcoming fight with Teofimo Lopez, which has been tentatively announced. Also, subscribe to that one. Subscribe to BDA Live, or live channel, or a secondary channel. That's where we also hold longer film analysis. And if you get a couple of shekels your way, don't forget you can send them via the super chat feature. You can also go to the Patreon page or the BDA PayPal page, and you can donate that way. But the most important thing, like I always say, is to continue supporting the stream, the channel, like, subscribe, spread the BDA gospel. I want to give a shout out to Jack Miles, everybody in the chat room, Cabell T, Carlos Mendoza, Brian Harkin, Foulpole Boxing, Stephen Lawler, Official Scorecard Boxing, Julius R, Blue Collar Sport TV, and so on and so forth. Many more people to come, I am sure. Thank you guys for joining us. We will be opening up the phone lines. And if anybody wants a Discord link, you can certainly ask me today. It seems like it's going to be a relaxed show, so feel free to do so. What was I going to say also? Well, I was going to start off with, the aforementioned Vasyl Lomachenko. I'm reading here on Boxing 24. I know most people don't like that website. It's certainly not my favorite. But they do keep up with the news and the rumors. And last night, there was a ESPN card. Alex Saucedo outworked Sonny Fredrickson for a unanimous decision win, I believe. And they also did a little bit of a package video segment on the upcoming Vasyl Lomachenko-Teofimo Lopez fight. It seems like both fighters are willing to fight without a crowd. And according to Boxing 24 right here, might just be taking place on September 19th. So there's hope for that one. They're not expecting to have a crowd. And it might just take place on ESPN pay-per-view. So I got to ask you guys, do you think it's going to take place? Do you think it's going to be on pay-per-view? And I think the most important thing is, if there's not a good undercard, let's say Bob Arum does what Bob Arum often does, and it's, he puts a couple of prospects against some tomato cans. Would you still pay for just for the main event alone, or would you be more predisposed to ignoring this fight? Especially because I know deals in times can be hard now because of the whole when the officials decided to shut down society because of the COVID thing. It left a lot of people in the dirt. So I don't know, financially, I don't know if a lot of people are willing to pay for that type of fight. Ozzy Chavez in the chat says he would be willing to pay for that fight. Brian Harkin says, I hope it takes place. There's a fucking ant on my console here. Hold on a second. Give me a minute here. How does an ant make its way into my console? I don't know. I tell you, we got to upgrade the security here at the BDA Palace. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, folks. No, I did not run away from the ant. I had to go fucking throw it out in the garbage. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. So the fight. So some of you guys are saying that Blue Collar Sports says the BDA shack is infested. No, it's not infested. It's somewhere over here. Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't fucking get it. Fucking ant. Now it's on my microphone. Disgusting. Hold on a second. Give me a second here. Hold on. I hope it was the same. I hope it was the same one. I hope it wasn't a different one. Because then maybe Blue Collar Sport TV would be right. Maybe I would be having an infestation. Just looking at my microphone here, see if it's not on there. Nope. It's appears to be gone. God, fucking ants, man. I mean, I know they're God's creatures and all that, but I mean, you're not supposed to be fucking coming into the BDA headquarters over here. Anyway, what was I going to say? So yeah, Vasyl Lomachenko. Some of you guys are saying, yeah, you would like the fight to happen. You'd be willing for it to happen. Some of you guys are saying you would be paying for it. Johnny Boy says, shout out to Johnny Boy says, I learned them both growing up, fuckface. What's he talking about? I don't know what's going on here. Hold on a second. Hey, by the way, Blue Collar Sport TV, aka Del Boy, if you want to come on right now, it seems like we got an open house. I know usually we usually stick to regulars, but today nobody's fucking showing up, it seems. So I want to give a chance for everybody else. Fill up the roster. So if anybody wants a Discord link, hit me up on the Discord so I know who it is. What else? So that's the fight. Yeah, create the group. Hold on a second. Oh, by the way, some people are also saying Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell supposed to be mandated by the WBC. That sounds like a nice, interesting fight. I don't expect it to happen. I don't expect, what's his name? Especially now, all these fights, there's certain fighters out there that are saying, well, I don't want to fight if there's no crowd. I don't want to fight if it's not in front of people, like a bunch of prima donnas. You want to get paid, or you want to go around and fuck around with your dick out? Come on. You're supposed to stay on the ball here. SSB28 says, happy Canada Day to everybody. Yes, indeed. Happy Canada Day. Absolutely. Thank you, SSB28. Bray432 says, I don't see Oscar letting that fight happen. I think Luke beats Ryan easy. All he has left is left hook. He also closes his eyes when he throws punches. Well, the thing with Ryan Garcia is he's too much of he's like Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez to a certain degree. They're one punch at a time type of guys. That's the new generation, the one that grew up watching Floyd Mayweather and thinking that that's the way you got to fight if you want to be a superstar. Floyd Mayweather was a big moneymaker for a lot of reasons, different reasons. His entertainment factor did not have anything to do with it. It was more of a brand thing. People bought into the brand. It was an event to watch Floyd Mayweather for a certain period, not as big a period as people make it out to be. But people seem to think that people equate, well, he was getting paid a lot, so that must have, and people went to see him, so that means they must have liked to see him fight. Guys, don't forget, there was a time where people were watching David Copperfield for a whole bunch of time. And he wasn't that entertaining, but it was a status symbol. Like, oh, hey, it's David Copperfield. Hey, all the rich people go to see it. Let's go see it. Oh, it's like that play Hamilton, too, which I've never seen and I will not be seeing anytime soon because it looks very homosexual-ish. Now, I got nothing against homosexuals unless, if you're a homosexual and you want to watch that type of thing, then there's nothing bad about that. But I don't know. I just don't get the whole fucking musical theater, Broadway type of thing. It's not for me. So that's the same thing with Floyd Mayweather. People were watching him because it was a status symbol thing. And even then, that didn't last that much. Because you go check out the numbers that he did with Art Guerrero or for the two Maidana fights. If he wasn't fighting Shane Mosley or Manny Pacquiao, he wasn't doing a million pay-per-view buys. So it's the same thing here. If these young guys think, oh, hey, I'm going to fight like Floyd Mayweather and I'm going to be a star because he did it, you got another thing coming. You definitely have another thing coming. And speaking of something coming, that's Vasyl Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez. No crowd, but they're willing to do it. Call me crazy, but I knowing Bob Arum, I know who we're dealing with here. I don't think he's going to stack the undercard. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, speaking of the aforementioned Bob Arum, and let this be a lesson to you guys out there. Silence is golden. Sometimes if you want to be too derogatory to somebody, maybe bite your tongue before you do it, because it leaves you open for counters, especially if you fuck up. And it's the same thing with Bob Arum. Never really want to be afraid of the consequence of what he says, and then sometimes he doesn't think when he speaks, or maybe he does think, but it's not the right type of thought. But he's been very vocal against Dana White, Oscar De La Hoya, Don King, back when they were racing to see who was the number one promoter in the world. Now his ratings, he came back to ESPN. It's been about 2 weeks now, I believe. And the ratings are tanking. I think he only did like about 400,000 views for one of his telecasts. Another one dropped to 300,000 and thereabouts. And so it's not good because he was the one making fun of Dana White for, he wants to come back too early. And people are telling him he shouldn't be coming back because of the COVID. I mean, what is he, insane? Now Dana White is doing better numbers than Bob Arum is with his cards. A lot of that has to do, I understand, because of the current health situation. It's hard to get fighters from overseas. It's hard to get these guys training properly. It's hard to get them the money they want because of the fact that there's no crowds. But I don't know. It just seems to me like he could be making a little bit more of an effort. Anyway, Eddie Hearn now came back, and he's had something to say about this. Hold on a second. Let me put up the article here. Hearn says, ratings produced by ESPN Top Rank shows are horrible for the sport. So he thinks the figures from Top Rank shows in June are bad for the boxing business overall. The last weekends since June the 9th, Las Vegas drew the highest viewership, a peak audience of 609,000 viewers for the Shakur Stevenson 6-round knockout of Felix Carballo. ESPN's following 5 weeknight broadcasts each drew lower peak and average viewership than the Stevenson Carballo card. That's troublesome, according to what Hearn stated during a recent appearance on the Ak and Barak show, which streams daily on the Zone and SiriusXM. Okay, so he was on a Barack Obama or Allahu Akbar show, and he had this to say: "You're seeing a little bit of boxing back right now. The content is not good enough, and you're seeing that being reflected in the ratings. Top Rank and ESPN shows are running non-competitive fights, and a lot of times with fighters that don't have significant profiles. You've only got to look at the ratings that are being produced by ESPN and Top Rank. It's horrible for the sport. It's giving people an excuse to say boxing is dead." And we all know, guys, there doesn't need to be that much going on for people to start screaming boxing is dead. Just 1 year without a mega fight, and whoops, boxing is dead. They go back to the same old thing. So he continues by saying that the Philippines, okay, he's talking about the fights that took place. There was an upset here between Joshua Franco and Andrew Maloney. And there was another fight, I think, between two Mexicans that it was a pretty good, entertaining scrap. But it's like Eddie Hearn is saying, they're not big names. So even though the fights might be okay here and there, it's still people that nobody really knows. So that affects it when it comes to the casual boxing fan. Some of these guys are not going to want to tune in to watch the fighters that are on the cards because nobody knows who they are. Sometimes even hardcore boxing fans go scratching their heads going, who the fuck is this guy? Hearn conceded that there are more matchmaking issues during the pandemic, yet he still feels the top-ranked ESPN should be offering better boxing. Hearn believes his company, Matchroom Boxing, has put together more evenly matched and intriguing fights. We're going to take a look at that later on, see if it's true or not. He says, my thoughts are that you can't have A-level guys against A-level guys at the moment with no gate. Financially, it's impossible. But what you've got to have is you've got to have your B-level guys against your B-level guys, your C-level guys against C-level guys, and so on and so forth. And if you manage to throw in an A-level guy, at least make him fight a B-level guy. Sounds good on paper, right? All of a sudden, you've got a one-sided fight with no fans in the arena, no atmosphere. How do you think that's going to translate as a TV product? And there is the onion in the ointment, or the fly on the ointment, not the onion in the. What am I talking about? It's precisely that. It's if you got bad fights, no names, or mismatches, how do you think that's going to reflect? And people don't want to tune in for this crap. They just don't. All right. So that's what he's talking about. Now let's take a look at the Matchroom schedule. See if it's going to be any better than what Bob Arum has been offering up so far. Matchroom Boxing returns. Okay, Katie Taylor. That's female boxing, so might as well be no boxing. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. Come on. So you got August 1st. They're going to be returning on August the 1st. Sam Eggington versus the infamous Ted Cheeseman. James Tennyson versus Gavin Gwynne. The most Gaelic name you could find. Gavin Gwynne. Jordan Gill versus Reese Bellodi. A bunch of guys I've never heard of. Maybe some people over there in Europe, the old continent, as I like to call it. Felix Cash versus Jason Wellborn. And by the way, Felix Cash, that sounds like the name of a drug dealer in a 1980s movie. It's all until August 22nd, you get Dylan White versus Alexander Povetkin. Other than that, I don't know. At least, though, on paper, I mean, you look at the records, it's Eddie Hearn is sticking to the philosophy of matching guys on their own level. So, sorry about that. So he's making a point there. He's not putting on A-level guys against D-level guys. Makes sense? Makes sense, if you ask me. Why not? What else was I going to say here? Hold on a second. I'm looking at the schedule here. I'm trying to see if I miss them because I was just looking at it fast. No, doesn't seem like it's to somebody that good. All right. And by the way, I want to show you guys a picture here of, because Eddie Hearn, apparently he's going to be some of the fights are going to be taking place on his estate. The Eddie Hearn estate. Look at this. That's where they're going to be taking place. Right in the backyard. I don't know if they're going to be barbecuing. Hopefully they've remembered to turn the sprinklers off. You don't want to be fighting or be in the crowd and all of a sudden you get fucking soaked by the sprinklers. Also, he wanted initially, according to this article I'm reading, he wanted to do it on Jeffrey Epstein's island, and fly fighters on over via the Lolita Express. But apparently the island is already taken. And it's interesting. It's going to be taken over by, according to the article, by Dana White. He's going to be showing events in Jeffrey Epstein's island. Isn't that ironic, though? The island where people were getting fucked, somebody says, and now Dana White's going to be financially fucking his fighters over. Oh! Now, wait a minute. I think this article is satire. I don't think they're going to be having fights on Jeffrey Epstein's island. All right, what are people saying in the chat room? Blue Collar Sports TV says first Matchroom card is okay for a domestic show. Well, that's the problem, though, because I'm a DAZN guy. I pay for DAZN. That's what I mean by that. And I don't know who these motherfuckers are. I'm going to watch it if there's nothing else on to watch. But I can't take too much of that, though. So you know, it's in other words, I'll watch them, but it's not like I'm going to be excited for them. Hopefully the fights are good, though. Hopefully they're competitive fights. What else? Hold on a second. I'm looking at the chat here. Cabell T says Ryan Garcia is much wanted in that island. Oh, Blue Collar Sports TV says Barry Hearn's dad was in Epstein's black book. Would not surprise me, man. Would not surprise me. Oops, he took away that comment. He was kidding. Jack Napier says Hearn needs to pay Serrano and get that fight as an undercard to White Povetkin. That's a good fight, man. Out of all the fights out there that have been announced, that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. If Teofimo Lopez Vasil Lomachenko is announced and formally announced and said, then that's obviously beats all of them. First Matchroom card is okay for a domestic show. Speaking of Matchroom, breaking news: Michael Hunter quits Matchroom. Oh, that's according to official scorecard boxing. That's bizarre. That is bizarre for sure. All right, here's another thing I wanted to talk about. Speaking of, okay, because there's another article that says, this is from Boxing 24 as well. It's a blog more or less. But it says Canelo, this is from Boxing Scene. Canelo is not going to be fighting a champion in the fall, says Golden Boy president. He's not going to be fighting a champion. In another article I read, I think De La Hoya said all these guys are pricing themselves out. And I'm thinking, are they really pricing themselves out though? Or, what's going on here? Some people are mentioning Derevyanchenko for Canelo. But from what I hear, it's Charlo's team is the one that's looking for Canelo. Hold on a second. For Derevyanchenko. Let me put that one up here. Hold on a second. It's trying to copy the link here to show you guys the article. So yeah, Derevyanchenko versus Charlo, apparently they're trying to work on that one. Because, at this point, Canelo, look, if some people really are pricing themselves out against Canelo, then it's their fault. But I hate to say it, but this whole Canelo thing, I don't know what to expect from them. I don't know what to take at face value from when it comes out, when a news item comes out of their camp. I don't know who's who there. I don't know who's working for whom, but it's a bizarre thing. So if he says, "Oh, nobody wants to fight me," is that really true, or is he offering shit money? Because again, people want to get paid when they fight Canelo. Now, I understand what some of you guys are going to say. Hey, if you're fighting one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world and one of the best money makers, and right now you can't get paid that much, take the fucking pay cut, but go in there and try to beat the guy, and you will substantially raise your profile. You won't become the next Canelo, but it's better than nothing. It's better than staying around not fighting. So here's Charles' trainer. This is coming from Ronnie Shields, all right? Jermel Charlo, WBC middleweight champ. He's a WBC middleweight champion? I didn't know that. You know me, I don't follow the belts. He says, I definitely want to see him fight Canelo. Jermel gets up for big fights. He knows how to get up for the big fights. And this is the fight that he wants so bad. All fighters want that fight. All fighters want to fight the best. Guys, in order to call yourself the best, you have to fight the best. Jermel has been asking for that fight for a long time. Okay. But you know what? He just said that he's going to fight whoever they put me in the ring with. And maybe that will draw Canelo out. We're just hoping and praying that one day we can get him. In the meantime, we have to fight whoever they put in front of us. And right now, we have a guy that's ranked at #1 in the world right now. That's Sergey Derevyanchenko. We're looking at him, and I think right now he's probably the front runner for who will fight next. Let me tell you something. I am looking forward to that fight. Shit, that's as good a fight that's as good as it gets, man. That's as good as it gets. And because, again, this is a perfect fight for Jermel Charlo because, people accuse him of not fighting the best. People have accused him of that in the past. And so with Derevyanchenko, who just came off a sensational war over Golovkin, a fight in which most people thought he won, by the way. Why not? This is the perfect fight for Charlo. Now, I got to tell you something else as well. I don't think Jermel Charlo is the best middleweight in the world, not even close. But he's a difficult guy, man. He's a big middleweight. He hits hard. He's got very good reflexes, especially on the counter. And he's got decent power. And this Derevyanchenko fight would let us know where he's at right now in boxing. Also, the Dennis Hogan fight. I know Dennis Hogan was coming up from 154, but Hogan did fight Jaime Munguia, who is a very big middleweight, a junior middleweight, practically a middleweight. And Munguia was struggling to catch the guy. Meanwhile, Charlo stopped Hogan. Now, I know it was a bit of a premature stoppage, but let me tell you, man, Charlo did a lot better than Munguia did. And I think if they were to fight right now, I would have Charlo beating Munguia. Okay? So, but this Derevchenko fight, it would be perfect because if he beats Derevchenko and if he does it in concussive fashion or in impressive fashion rather, he will have an argument. Say, hey Canelo, hey Billy Joe Saunders, if he does fight at middleweight again, hey Daniel Jacobs, all these guys. Look what I did to this guy. Then again, Daniel Jacobs did beat Derevchenko better than Golovkin did. So Daniel Jacobs might just have a leg up on Charlo even after all this time. But I digress. It's an open season out there, but I do think Jermell Charlo is a very good fighter. I don't think he beats Canelo at this point. I don't think he even beats Golovkin. I think Golovkin might just edge it against him. But he does not give anybody an easy time. None of the top middleweights out there. None of the top 3. I'm telling you, this guy is good. Not the best, but he's good enough. Now, speaking of that, some people are saying, what are people saying in the chat room? Straight G Tour says, I think Derevchenko wins. Ozzy Chav says, Canelo versus Derevchenko is a good fight. SSB28 says, the only belt BDA follows is the BDA championship belt. There's no such thing, but if there were, I wouldn't follow it either. Stephen Lawler says, Charlo Derevchenko would be interesting. BOKS says, Charlo lost to Kovrov. I do agree with that. I do think he lost. I don't think he was he didn't get schooled necessarily or dominated, but he didn't look all that hot either. He was getting hit way too much on the face, flush on the face, straight up. So, Stephen Lawler says Derevchenko and Andrade are the best fights for Charlo, in my opinion. Mindgrower says flying solo tonight, BDA. No, I'm inviting people, but nobody's jumping on. I don't know if it's got something to do with the Discord or maybe just everybody's busy today. It is Canada Day, and Canada is one of the top 3 countries in the world, so maybe even foreigners are celebrating it. I don't know. You motherfuckers out there, I sent an invite. GD Jefferson, Recognize the Matrix, La Evolucion. I think I sent it to Gonzalo too. If anybody wants a link, man, you guys tell me, man. Drop on. Hey, open house today. If you want to come in, why not? Foulball Box says Chenko will demolish Charlo. Jack Napier says both Charlos are too basic. Foulball says Chenko will demolish Charlo, especially after the layoff. Johnny Boy says, no, BDA, I love you, brother, but Triple G takes his face easy work. I don't know about that, man. I don't know. It's Jermell Charlo's a dangerous guy, just based off of his physicality alone. But anything can happen. He's never fought anybody close to Golovkin. So that's why I'm saying this Derevchenko fight would be perfect to show us where he's at right now. Because we've seen Derevchenko in there against Daniel Jacobs. We've seen him in there against Golovkin. And he gave Golovkin hell. He didn't let Daniel Jacobs get comfortable in there. So anything can happen, man. I mean, let's see where Charlo stands in all of this. Mank Grower says D is ill. Whoops. All right. Get better, D. Hope you get better. Hope it's nothing serious. What else was I going to say? I don't know if did you guys hear the there's a rumor now apparently coming out that new accusations against Tyson Fury that supposedly he had a horseshoe on or something, like some metal implement in his hands, and that's why he beat Wilder. Because of course that's the only way he could have beaten Wilder, right? He had to have cheated to beat the great Deontay Wilder, the best heavyweight of all time, Deontay Wilder. But you know what? When this whole thing, Glovegate, started, I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Then Bucho filled me up on the whole thing. I watched some videos accusing, Fury about it. And I just said, you know what? Let me check it out. All right. And I saw the video and I saw the evidence and I wasn't convinced. Now I think, you know what? There's something to Fury beating Wilder. There's something fishy there. But it's not with the glove. See, that's why it's interesting how people look at things and they missed what's actually in front of them the whole time. Derek Chauvin, or Chauvin, I don't know how you say it, the officer that is being accused of having murdered George Floyd. I say accused because he hasn't been, convicted yet, okay? This guy, I'll just put it to you this way. He used to live in Florida, used to work in Florida. All of a sudden, he moves to Minnesota, of all states. Who makes the move to that? Also, check out Florida. Who lives where he had a house there? A quite expensive house, apparently. Who are some of the people living around there? Connected to Langley. Now, if you know what's in Langley and which infamous organization is there, then you start connecting the dots. Also, Chauvin is bald. Who else is bald? Professor Xavier from the X-Men. What does he do? He has telepathy, right? Mind control, mind powers, mind waves. You see where I'm going with this? Tyson Fury did not cheat in the way that people think he did. Derek Chauvin sent him mind waves and fuck with Wilder. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. You look up the rest. All right? But it had nothing to do with the gloves. I can't believe people missed the whole thing. It's right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you. But you can't see it because you're obsessed with the gloves. I got to tell you, man, people are, I hate to say it, people are stupid. People are stupid. What else was I going to say? Jarrell Big Baby Miller says he should not be banned from, because it's the third time now he's being caught using illegal, PEDs. And he's saying, I shouldn't be banned. I'm not even going to pay attention to this, but I mean, it's, dude, you 3 times, man. How many chances are we going to give this guy? And it's always the same excuse. I didn't know I was taking it. Who was giving it to you? Your fucking trainer? He's putting you at risk without telling you? It's always, trust me, maybe there's some cases where the trainer or the nutritionist slips something into the fighter and doesn't tell him, plausible deniability, but that shit doesn't work. That plausible deniability doesn't work. Whether it's in your system, they find it in your system, whether you knew it was there or not, you're still screwed unless you're Canelo Alvarez. But you're still screwed, so it makes no sense. It's plausible deniability theory. Most of the time, it's the fighter taking it. And we talked about this a little bit last episode about how these guys, most of these fighters, they don't have any balls. And not a lot of fighters, but the ones that get caught. I mean, think about it. What are they taking PEDs for? Do they think they can't get the job done naturally? Makes you think, right? Makes you think. Let's see what people are saying in the chat room. Carlos Mendoza says Fury exposed Wilder as a paper champ bum he is. All right, listen. Now that Chauvin is in jail, hopefully they put him in a Faraday cage so he can't send out his mind waves and fuck with Wilder. And we'll see. Once the third fight is, if it's on the level, things are going to be much, much different for Deontay Wilder. Trust me on that. Trust me. Gamecore says Wilder's going to request bigger gloves now, and it's only going to hurt him because now he lost his right hand and he can't box. Bray432 says Big Pharma thought he could take advantage of the lack of testing due to the quarantine. Yeah, probably, yeah. Probably thought, hey, everybody's now focused on the COVID thing. Hey, I'm going to do what I got to do. Nobody's going to pay attention to me. Well, guess what? He got caught. Brian Harkin says, maybe we have been hypnotized to thinking the gloves are the problem. That's exactly what I'm saying. See, now Brian Harkin, he's connecting the dots there. He is connecting the dots. So I had another story here from Boxing Scene. And this is about Prograis and his views on the upcoming Ramirez versus Postal fight, which should be taking place this fall. By the way, I'm curious, guys, who did you think won the Postal Prograis fight? I mean, the Postal Taylor fight. Go ahead and check it out or watch the highlights and you tell me. Because I thought it was a pretty close fight, but man, Josh Taylor, starting to get the feeling he's not a great long-range boxer. He's not a great long-range boxer. He's a little bit on the sluggish side, if you ask me. He tends to like to brawl a little too much. But hey, listen. Apparently, here from Prograis, he says he thinks. Hold on a second. I gotta sending more invites again here. Because maybe I'm thinking maybe people aren't getting them for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, maybe Prograis onto something. Because let me show you the article, what it says exactly. Because I can paraphrase, but it's not going to be good. Prograis says Ramirez most likely will run right over Postal and stop him. And the gestalt of it is that he says it's because of age. You know, he's older, and I actually think Ramirez could be the first person to stop him. If Postal has some type of rejuvenation in him, then he can give Ramirez a hard time because he's long, he's lanky, and he can keep Ramirez outside. He's got a sneaky right hand. But if he's older, I think Ramirez stops him. I mean, let me tell you, man, that Hooker fight, Ramirez Hooker, it was a slugfest. It could have ended badly for Ramirez there. He got hurt a little bit by some of the left hooks. Now, I know Postal is not as explosive as Hooker is, because Hooker is younger. But nevertheless, Postal has a very good control of the range. Even Crawford, he had to fight on the outside against Postal because he didn't want to trade with him. He didn't want to go into Postal's wheelhouse, which is what Postal wanted. He wanted Crawford to jump in and run into something big. And so Crawford decided to fight more cautiously on the outside. It was more of a fencing match. And he got the job done, more or less. Ramirez is going to be just walking forward, putting pressure. So maybe that's going to give Postal a chance to counter with some big right hands, because that's what Postal wants. He wants you to jump in there and run into something big. I'm opening up the phone lines, by the way. I forgot we got the... Now more than ever, guys, call in. There's nobody on the panel here. Nobody's jumped in yet. Again, if you're listening, some of the regulars or some of the irregulars,
show now,
and you want to call in...
1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
Call in.
Your show is scheduled to start in 20 seconds.
There we go. 20 seconds, people. So if you want to call in. Guys, if you want an invite on the Discord, let me know, and I'll send you the invite. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where everybody is. Freaking Canada Day, maybe? I don't know. But you better make your way around here real fast, or else we're going to have a problem. And also, like I said, I'm opening up the phone lines. So go ahead and show up. Everything's going to be fine. All right? So what was it? So yeah, so Postal, he's a guy that wants you to run into his right hand. What? Is the right hand? I think the phone lines are open. Hold on a second. Yep, phone lines are open, people, so you can jump in, call in. Number is right there in the middle portion, left-hand portion of your screen. Triple JJJ says, everyone's out there looting. Oh, come on. All right, so official scorecard box says, that's true, BDA. Taylor had his best moments when he imposed his size on Prograis. Taylor had his best moments. Yeah, that was a slugfest. I was rewatching that fight a couple of days ago. I didn't finish watching it all, but it was a true slugfest, man. The thing I didn't like was, though, that the version that I watched on the Zone and the version that I rewatched, there was no sound. Or there was sound, but you couldn't hear the punches. I tell you, man, if there was no crowd or if they would have some proper miking in there, I wanted to hear those body shots because they sounded awful. And awful in the sense of really hard shots. I would have liked to have seen what happened there with those body shots because they just slugged it out, man. Two real good inside fighters. The thing that surprised me about Prograis also was that he fought with his hands down on the inside, which is very hard to do. I don't know how he did that, but... All right, you know what? Let's go to the phone calls. Jeez. Hold on a second. Somebody's just hung up. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. 832, you're on the air. 832.
What's up, BDA? I just wanted to say something real quick about the Wilder and Fury.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I was watching some of the LDBC's videos, and they were talking about that Fury must have had like some steel in his gloves to make a dent in Wilder's head. That's what they're claiming. But I mean, they say that that you would break your hands long before you would break someone's skull, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is that would be true if Fury was hitting Wilder in the forehead, but he hit him in the temple. That's where the dent came from, the temple. And if you really think about it, the temple is way more softer than the forehead.
So what are you saying here? What are you telling me?
Hello?
Yeah. So what are you telling me?
That is funny. It's funny how the LDBC is thinking that Fury must have had foul play and all of that. Oh, and on top of that, if they say that he had some type of margarito like things in his glove,
mm-hmm.
then how come they have that picture of Fury and you clearly see his fingers and his knuckles supposedly, right? The Photoshop. So how would he have metal?
Yeah, I think I did see that one that was photoshopped. It was a bad job, by the way, of photoshopping. But let me tell you, man.
Yeah.
Forget about the gloves, man. Look into Derek Chauvin. Look into Mind Control. Look into Langley, Virginia.
Yeah.
Look into all those things. And forget about the gloves, man. That's where the real conspiracy is. Mm-hmm. There was some mind control going on Deontay. That's why, okay, think about this. Why did we see Deontay Wilder twerking like a slut in the streets? Why do you think that was?
I don't know. That dude went crazy. I don't know. I feel like it could be mind control. Like I said, I don't know. It's either that or he's on something. I don't know.
Precise made a bunch of videos. He hasn't touched boxing in a long time, but he did make a mini comeback after the Wilder fight, and he was sort of, saying more or less that there was some sort of a mind control, sacrifice, occult ritual going on when Wilder lost. So, look into Derek Chauvin. Look into the conditions surrounding the whole thing. Look into mind control. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out that Derek Chauvin was participating in CIA mind control trials of some sort, or telekinesis type powers, man. Because I'm telling you, man, Wilder, he never fought like that, and there's no evidence of anything on his gloves. It has to be mind control. But that's what these fucking LDBC people, I'm on their side. I think there was something fishy going on, but it had nothing to do with the gloves. I think it had to do something more nefarious.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, that's all I wanted to say. But appreciate you for having me. You know what I'm saying? You have a pretty good show. I always enjoy listening to you. Take care, BDA.
You too, man. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
All right. So there we go. So he made a good point about that the gloves. Listen, I think at this point they're gonna come up when it comes to the glove issue. They're never gonna stop. They're always gonna come up with something. It was the gloves. It was the suit. It was Tyson Fury. I don't know, stabbed him or fucked him before the fight. It's just I'm sorry to be so crude, but that's the world we're living in now. That's to the extent where they're going to. Okay, and so they're coming up with all these ridiculous things. I'm telling you, Langley, Derek Chauvin, Bald, Professor Xavier, telekinesis and telepathy, particularly when it involves negative waves at the very, 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 very low frequency. Look into all that. And then you tell me if it was really the gloves that affected Deontay Wilder, which again, there's no evidence for it, or if it's everything that I'm talking about. Okay? And by the way, when have I ever said anything insane? When have I ever not backed anything up with facts? You tell me. All I'm saying is look into it. Okay? I'm not willing to commit to this whole thing and defend it to no end. I'm willing to change my mind. But look into mind control. And you tell me if you didn't see Wilder being mind controlled out there. My goodness. I some people don't see the big picture. They're obsessed with gloves. They're obsessed with tainted gloves and implements in there. They don't focus on the big picture. They lose sight of the forest for the trees, or whatever that fucking expression is. Now back to the boxing. Okay, now to the boxing. We've got here. So Postal Prograis says that Ramirez will most likely run right over Postal. Hey, maybe, man, maybe because listen. At this point, one thing that's going to be very difficult for all of these guys is, especially guys that like Postal, who I think Postal's last fight was last year in April. So it's been more than a year since he's fought. Also, he's 36 years old. No spring chicken. So if he does come back against an aggressive guy like Ramirez, it could affect him. Then again, what was Ramirez's last fight? Hold on a second. Let me check it out, unless somebody beats me to it in the chat. Jose Carlos Ramirez. No, what is this? Jose Ramirez. How come I can never get his name to appear on BoxRec right away. All right, Johnny Boy says he wants a link. Finally, somebody wants to jump on. I don't know what's going on here today, man. It was bound to happen that people weren't available. All right, I think he's King Benny now. All right, Johnny Boy shot you the link. Let me check the phone lines. Guys, phone lines are open. We got an empty panel for some reason today, so now's the time. If you want to call in, and you know what? Discord too. If any of you guys want to jump on the Discord, man, jump on the show. Hit me up on the Discord. Why not? Do what you got to do. By the way, Johnny Boy, I just realized maybe something's not working on the Discord, and that's why nobody's been jumping on. So tell me if the invite worked. If not, then I think we've pinpointed the problem here. And I've already been speaking for 45 minutes. My God, I'm a fucking big mouth, man. I can go on and on. Jose Ramirez. What the fuck? Look, I write Jose Ramirez on BoxRec, and this is what comes up. This werewolf-looking motherfucker. This isn't Jose Ramirez. What is this? I'm telling you, I think there's a full moon out there or something. You know what? Screw this. I'm gonna do the 69 degrees thing. I'm gonna go for. Is it 69 or 68? I mean, that just lets you know where my mind is at right now. All right, Jose Carlos Ramirez. Okay, I forgot the Carlos. There we go. He last fought on July 27, 2019. Okay, so if he does fight Postal, it's gonna be more than a year for him as well. People are laughing at me because I didn't get it right. All right. Straight G Turo says that was me, A32 or Turo from Houston. Oh, all right. Shout out to Straight G Turo, man. Good call, man. Good call. I see we got more calls here. But before we do that, let me just check the chat real quick. Johnny Boy, did you get the? So okay, so I think something's not working here. I think that's the problem here. Hold on. Let me restart the Discord. I think now I understand why people weren't getting that. Because usually, you know what happens? I'm not making any excuses, but usually Bucho's on with me from the beginning of the show. And we start a conversation on Discord from before the show. So we actually already got a group set up. And then at that point, all we do is add people. But right now, since he's not here, I think something happened with the group. And long story short. But how come? That's the thing, though. If any of the regulars... Anyway, I'll iron this issue out with the rest of them later on. No, this isn't good. This isn't good. Hold on a sec. Let me call Johnny Boy here. There we go. And then from here, I will be adding more people. See if they didn't miss the call. So we're talking about Postal versus Ramirez right now, and Progray believes that Postal's going to get run over. Then again, the article also mentions that Progray picked what's his name, Wilder to knock Fury out in the rematch. But then again, a lot of people did, so we're not gonna punish.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't understand why. I hope it wasn't that the Discord wasn't working, because I sent a whole bunch of invites to people and nobody bit. Even Revolucion, who usually comes on, he wasn't. Anyway, I'm sending invites again, see if they work. What's up, man?
What's up, dude? Fucking Luke Campbell, 8. Luke Campbell, an 8.
You're talking about the potential Garcia fight.
Luke Campbell, an 8.
In 8. Yeah, 8. I think I agree with you, man. By the way, we got Revolucion on the line. Revolucion, are you there as well?
Yes, sir. I'm talking on my phone right now, but I'll transfer over to the PC.
I like how he makes it sound so formal. I'll be transferring over. I'll make the transfer over at 0800, and then we're going to be moving on to my compound. Like, shut up. Yep. Just switching over to your computer.
Revolution's always cooking fucking macaroni and cheese and walking out of the gas station at the same time when he's fucking jumping on here, dog.
Hey, Revolucion. If you're at the gas station and you see Shakur Stevenson, don't engage him. Because he tends to get into fist fights when he's in front of the 7-Eleven, in front of the fucking gas station, the car wash.
What did he do now?
Nah, I'm kidding. Well,
that's the thing.
He hasn't done anything. He got
in a fight somewhere?
No. He hasn't gotten into a new fight. It's just I'm talking about the old one. By the way, guys, before we continue, I got some people waiting here just as you jumped on the phone line. So let's go to the phone calls real quick. Let's go to 917. You're on the air. 917.
On everyone.
Hello.
This is David calling. It's
David.
been a while since you guys. I caught one of the shows, but I miss when you guys come on. I just never know when it is.
Usually it's on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but usually for sure Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. I also like the other show too, the Second Renaissance. That's even a better show. Oh man. But,
it's better because we get to talk about. It's better because we get to talk about what we want. But I mean, it's sometimes it can get a little hectic. Anyway, go ahead, David. What's on your mind?
Yeah, no, I'm just coming in for a chat. But listen, we've actually always disagreed when it comes to boxing. In politics, we agree, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to boxing, we have like two completely different opinions, right? So, for example, I know, like Wilder, whatever, we give him crap, whatever, we don't like him, blah, blah, blah. I was rooting for him to win, and he lost, and I recognize he got beat up, fair and square, good for Fury. But then, like, this whole time, I realized that, like, isn't the whole entire criticism against Wilder that he's not technical? and that he's only winning because he's strong, he's got knockout power, right? That's what we have against him.
Right.
Initially, that, you know, he doesn't deserve all the hype because he's really technical. All right, so, okay, he's not technical, but who is the most technical person out there? That is Floyd Mayweather, and they still hate him. So, you know, it's like, what do you want from the man? You know, you're too technical like Floyd, you're boring, you're not technical enough, even though you're knocking people out, people still not going to like you. So I don't really know, you know, what's going on here.
I have a good answer. You could have somebody who is both technical and going for knockouts like Triple G. That's who I like. There's that right in the middle ground. Sergey Kovalev was another. They're knocking dudes out, but they're doing it in proper fundamental fashion. You don't see them fucking jumping and twisting and doing jumping jacks and shit while they punch like Wilder.
This guy had one boxing lesson. Now he thinks he's fucking Ray Arcel over here. For Christ's sake.
No, but you know what?
David, I know.
David,
I just don't think everyone could be the complete package, you know. I think you can't have supreme technique and also have crazy power, or have crazy power and supreme technique, you know. That would be like a near perfect fighter. You know, there are fighters out there like that, you know. So, but you know, I think we give Wilder too much crap, you know. Like other than you know, I really don't get nothing. I don't feel anything for him.
Well, what else do they give him crap about? I think like his attitude turns people off because he seems a little crazy, especially later in his career. Like he was more humble back in the day.
I think
and then what was
him
and then his record
like
too. I think
he puts up.
Yeah, but it's annoying to some people. You know, it's kind of polarizing. Some like it, some don't. But I also think it's just the fact that he's gotten 40 fucking fights. Everybody says, oh, 40 fights, 40 knockouts, but, you know, 30 of them are taxi cab drivers, you know? So there's that little aspect where if he was just, hey, I got power, I am what I am, and he just fought legitimate competition and lost, people would still like him. But instead, they fucking babied him, gave him easy guys. So people are like, yeah, you're strong, but who gives a fuck?
You know what, David, if I may interject here, Revolucion makes a good point about it's not just, listen, you got to look into the context. Nobody, or not nobody, but very few people hate somebody just for the sakes of hating. With Wilder, like Revolucion said, he's a bizarre guy. He talks about wanting to get pregnant. He talks about wanting to kill people in the ring. Him and his posse go after Dominic Brazil outside of the ring, and they accost his wife and tell her to shut the fuck up. It's like he does a lot of things that turn people off. Also, I will say a lot of his fans also turn people off away from him. When it comes to Floyd Mayweather, he used to be entertaining back when he was a junior lightweight, a lightweight, and even a junior welterweight. By the time he started getting a little bit older and he started fighting very, very, very defensively minded, safety first type style, and the fact that he, like Deontay Wilder, also had an attitude and a character that turned people off, that's the reason why people hate on him. So you can be the most entertaining guy out there, but if you're a toxic personality, I'm sorry, you're not gonna have the most fans out there.
Okay, so I guess some people, you know, they take into account more than just what goes on in the ring. I guess that accounts for a big part if you're a star. I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right.
But to that point also,
that's why that's. I'm sorry, BDA. I keep talking. You go.
Just real quick. To that point, though, because one of the kind of arguments that people make to what I just said is, well, I separate. You know, I call them the purists. They root for a guy if he's good, okay, and they'll go, well, if this guy's good, then I'll root for him. But I can't separate.
Why I like Floyd Mayweather, because he's so good.
Right, and you can respect his boxing skills. But I can't separate the boxing skills from the fighter when it comes to rooting for a guy. Like, if a guy's an asshole, I'm not going to root for the asshole just because he's good at boxing. I'll respect his skills. It's not like I'm going to... Like, for example, Andre Ward. I think he's an asshole outside the ring. Maybe if I met him in person, he would change my mind. But from what I see and from what I hear coming from him, he's a bit of a jerk. But when it comes to boxing, I can...
Could you elaborate? Because I feel... I feel like Andre Ward is a respectable person. What did he say that I might have missed that makes you think he's a jerk?
Underhanded tactics, such as sending spies over to other boxing gyms to spy on his opponents, kicking people out of press conferences as a power move, to psychologically deter them right before fights. The low blows against Sergey Kovalev. Those are just, but I don't want to get into the whole Andre Ward thing. But my point is, I'm not one of those guys that's going to root for somebody just because he's good or because we share the same nationality. For example, I'm not the biggest Canelo fan out there, even though I'm Mexican or Mexican origin. And just because Canelo's Mexican does not mean I owe him allegiance. If a guy's an asshole, a guy's an asshole. He could be Mexican, Chinese, whatever. Doesn't, it's I judge people by their actions and their words. Their words second.
For example, I'm a greasy dago, and I hate fucking Vinny Paz the Enzo.
Because Kovalev he really has a colorful past.
Yeah, he's been exposed as a bit of a crazy dude. I mean, the fact that he killed somebody in the ring and displayed, at least in public, displayed no qualms about it. The fact that there's accusations against him of kicking dogs and women, and the fact that he doesn't give that much of an effort when things get rough in there in the ring. I mean, it's just, he's a guy that I don't. In the beginning, when I didn't know any of that, I liked him based on also on his style. But now,
me too. Until I found out later on,
You know what made me like him even better?
He kind of whines a lot, Very
you know what made me?
That's all I'm saying.
You know what made me like him even better? When
he
took that fucking when he took that wad of cash and he threw it at the stewardess.
Oh, did that really? Oh, that's another one that I forgot about.
Yeah, that was a beauty. The rest was scumbag moves, but that one was a fucking beauty right there.
By the way, Revolucion, you were going to say something?
Yeah, that's why I think caller said that, I guess some people take into consideration the the outside the ring stuff. I mean, everybody really does when you think about it. That's why they have the post-fight interviews and everything. We don't, even if you think you are, we're not looking at boxers as just bodies in the ring fighting and who's the best. We always know where they come from.
I think
we got little
fighters
subconscious
get forgiven
things,
though, quicker than others.
Hold on, because you guys, because you guys were talking, you guys talked over each other, so I didn't really hear what you had to say, David. Go ahead.
I apologize. No, but I think some fighters they get forgiven quicker than others. Like someone like Billy Joe Saunders, right? What he said, during the quarantine about hitting women, all that stuff. Tyson Fury, and people get mad for like a day and forget about it. Which is, listen, there's no point holding a grudge or anything. But then let like Gervonta Davis do one thing in public, and it's like like the end of the world, like biggest news. He gets roasted all day, and people never let it go, And but the same thing doesn't happen to someone like Saunders.
Well, actually, the Saunders thing, a lot of people went after him. A lot of writers, and at least on the comment section of the article that I read, a lot of people, which was the Ring TV website, a lot of people were calling him an idiot, an asshole. So I mean, but I do.
Fantastic.
Was that?
I thought it was fantastic.
Well, but I do agree with you, David. Some people do get a bit of a pass. Some people get it harder than others. It's the nature of show, because again, boxing is a form of show business. It is a form of entertainment, and some people have more fans than the others. Some fighters have more people out there that will excuse their behavior or justify it. So, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, even Tyson Fury, he when he was talking about gays and women and all this, women's place and everything, he got a lot of shit from people in the UK for a long time over it. He's he had to go away and kind of come back to rebuild his character. So
I thought it was fantastic.
That was fantastic. And your gay lover, David Bellew. Tony Bellew.
By the way, you know what's an interesting example of a guy that really did escape allegations, or not even allegations, because technically on paper he was found guilty. Mike Tyson. Technically, this guy was convicted of rape. Now, I'm not saying he did rape her. The law says that he was found guilty, but if you look into the case, you find out that there was a lot of shenanigans going on. But nobody mentions the whole thing, the rape thing anymore, at least not to Tyson's face. First of all, because they're afraid that he's going to rip their heads off. But he's a guy that did a complete 180. He used to be the joke of boxing back in the early 2000s when he was talking about wanting to eat babies and beat up Lennox Lewis in front of his children and all that. And now everybody loves him. He's a lovable figure. And nobody, again, like I said, no.
I mean, I can let me hold on. He didn't rape nobody. That bitch wanted some money. But anyways,
100%.
But that one doesn't count. The rest of them, I'll stomp on you fucking testicles. That's different.
Hey, I know Mike Tyson was innocent. I know he was innocent. You know why? Because when he got out of prison, somebody interviewed him, and then they asked him, Mike, did you really commit the rape? Did you really commit the crime? And he said, no. And he said, no, but I wish I did, and her mama too.
See, those are
the words of a man.
All right, Johnny boy. Yeah, Johnny boy.
My fucking point, Johnny. Jesus.
Fuck up, you.
Hey, Johnny boy.
Hey, shit stops here because I don't take no more shit. I'm finishing my point, and you want to talk me down? Treat me with respect. I'm old. Remember that.
Fuck up, Freckles.
That's all you could call me, Freckles, because you're an uncreative bitch. Freckles, Canelo, blah, blah, blah. You got the same.
All right. Take it easy.
All right, there you go. Stand down. Now, all I wanted to say was he said, I wish I raped her and her mama too. And those are the words of a man who just spent time in prison that he didn't deserve. The end.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Bro,
also, if I may... Oh, come on. If I may add something...
You're going to get the last word, though, Johnny. Don't try to get the last word and take it down.
Right, okay. Jesus, I'm joking.
All right, cool. Good.
You can talk.
Anyway,
I just don't want to get cut off, man. I'm talking, and I wasn't cutting you off. You were cutting me off, in fact.
Oh,
but I wanted to finish.
What I was gonna say was, dog. Listen, bro. Tyson was a sensitive man. Okay, he got taken advantage of by two hooas. That one and the Robin Givens. Right. That's it.
Well, I'm going to add something to that because I read his biography, the one that came out in, 2011, 2012? And he, first of all, even prior to that, I knew that there was something fishy with the rape case. But from his point of view, he also says that Don King was the one that screwed up the whole proceedings because he's the one that told him, look, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to get the attorneys for you. And he got a bunch of attorneys that were, I think they were like experts in tax evasion or divorce or something. Like, in other words, they're the guys. Yep. They're the guys that you call that if your basement flooded, you want to sue the contractors because they did a shitty job of waterproofing it. Those are the guys you call, those lawyers. And he didn't get in the. Go ahead.
Those were the guys you'd call if you have if the foundation in your fucking mansion is cracked. Understand? You got to repave the joint.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said. Yeah. You took the whole joke out of you took the whole air out of my joke, you cocksucker.
Couldn't have been too much to clean up, Joe.
All right, he got the reference. But yeah, he didn't have the proper criminal lawyers, defense lawyers. He had some fucking shysters that didn't know what the hell they were doing, and boom, he got screwed up. Also, the fact was that the public sentiment against him. Here you have, and this is where race does play a factor. Because I'm not one of those guys that cries racism all the time, but in this scenario, there was a race element involved. Here you have a big fucking black guy who's used to knocking people out. You have this woman crying, oh, he raped me. And he also says, Tyson, he made a mistake. He laughed, I think, at some point during the trial. And they spread that image all over the news. So they made him look like a guy that didn't care about her feelings. Bada bing, bada boom, he got sent to jail. But there's a big doubt about whether he actually raped that woman or not. In fact, didn't the woman, what's her name? That animal, what's her name? The woman. Anyway, listen, forget about it. I think she even said no, the one that claimed to be
the other bitch, yeah.
But anyway, listen, it was a fishy case. I think he got railroaded. But then again, I could be wrong. I'm not a legal expert, so what do you want from me? By the way, David, are you still in the air on the line?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, man. I'm good. It's tough. Move on.
All right. Thank you for your call and take it easy out there, right?
All right. Thanks for having me. Later.
All right. Fantastic. Guys, let's go to another phone call real quick. We got... come on. Okay. Because it wasn't working here. Let's go to 773. 773, you're on the air. 773, you're on the air.
What did that dude just say? He said he's got evidence and proof because he said he would have wished he raped her. That's your proof and that's your evidence? Man, I'm glad you're not involved in law. That's all someone's got to say is they wish they'd done it. Man, that's some low IQ logic if I ever heard any.
All right, well,
Tyson goes,
I didn't go to fucking college. This is just my dumbass opinion. So he served the time. So
that's your
fucking
evidence and your proof, huh?
If you just went to hold up, put yourself in the shoes. Seriously, if you just went to prison for X amount of time for accused of rape and you really didn't do it, how fucking pissed off would you be?
I don't know. That's not relevant to what I said. You said you had evidence and proof, and your proof was that what he said after he got out of the prison. That's not proof. That's just simply hearsay. People lie all the time. So
I'm just trying to fucking analyze a person here, all right? Listen, if he actually committed the crime and he went to jail and he came out and they fucking asked him the question, he said, oh, well, he would have said anything else. This is just my fucking opinion, dude. I'm not the judge. I don't have the white wig on.
Well, Kevin, what's your point of view on this? What's your take on the Mike Tyson? Guilty or not guilty?
Well, in cases like that, it's just simply hearsay. His word against her word. And in my opinion, Mike Tyson was a coked up animal in those days. I've seen some of the stuff he said, some of his bizarre outbursts, and based off his behavior, it wouldn't surprise me at all that he would commit that crime. But
I don't know.
Like I said,
Listen, I read his autobiography.
Yeah.
Again, it's coming from him, so he could be biased, right? But he says from at that point he was fucking a different girl every fucking day, man. So he made the argument that why would I rape her if I can get pussy any way I want? Now, is it a case where, like you're saying, maybe he was coked up out of his mind, she said no, and he kept going? Maybe, but she did. Here's the other thing. I don't want to turn this into a fucking sexual harassment episode, but she did go up. Like he was finger banging her in the limo, and then she willingly went up to his hotel room. Like if you're a girl and you're getting finger banged in the limo, what do you think is going to happen once you go up? Like, did you think they were going to have a cup of coffee and watch Netflix? Well, the Netflix wasn't around at the time, but you get what I'm saying. So I don't know. It's yeah.
Have a cup of coffee and watch The Price is Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I
just love that Bob argument a lot. But
hey, but your evidence ain't no better than mine, dude. You're shitting on my evidence, and you're saying, oh, well, he was on cocaine, so he had to have.
She could have second thought.
Stop yelling revolution. You hurt my ears.
You really don't know what the deal is. The fact of the matter is he was convicted, so he's a convicted rapist. End of
come
story.
on. Yeah, but I mean, come on. It's people wanted anyway. Look, listen. You're right. On paper, he is a convicted rapist. But how many people get wrongfully convicted in the fucking United States system? Huh? Some people call it the jurisprudence. I call it jurisprudence. What do you think about that?
Ew.
Well, you look at his behavior in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Look at the way he handled himself. Look at the way he carried himself. That looks like a guy that's worried about law, worried about law and order, worried about breaking the rules.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
Famous Rand.
But here's another counter argument to that. He was banging a whole bunch of women every week. They all could have said, "Hey, let me accuse him of rape, jump on the bandwagon." They didn't.
Well, all it takes is one.
All it takes is one
incident that you overexert yourself, and that's where you break the law.
So just to get this, straight,
idea that just because he could get other women, that he wouldn't do it to this one. You see Hollywood. You see people in Hollywood do this shit all the time. They get multiple women. You see athletes do this all the time, where they can get plenty of women, but it doesn't stop them from sexual assaulting people. So that's just a tired old argument. Oh, he can get any woman he wants. That doesn't make a difference.
But what I'm saying is,
time and time again.
but it does make a difference because if he's on coke all the time, like you said, acting like an animal, he must have done it to a whole bunch of other women. It bears to reason. That's the logic right there. But oh no, it just happened once. He just passed out once.
Not necessarily. Maybe some of them don't want to come forward. Maybe there's some people don't want to come forward out of shame. Heck, seen that happen before too.
Hey, if I'm a woman and Mike Tyson rapes me, I wouldn't be ashamed.
You look at Bill Cosby. I mean, that's another example.
That was Bill Cosby. No woman wanted to admit that they got banged by Bill Cosby, also old dick. Mike Tyson, on the other hand, young, physically in shape, in his prime, alpha male. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you something else. If I were a woman and I would have been raped by Mike Tyson, I'd be telling that to everybody. I'd be like, I'd go to the coffee shop. Hey, pastrami on right, please. Oh, and by the way, did you know Mike Tyson raped me? I would be telling everybody all the time, man. And I would get some money out of it too, like a book deal or something. Yeah. That whole thing about the shame, I don't get. When it comes to celebrities, there's no shame. Believe me.
BDA. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's an honor. I mean, what did he think? What did the broad think he wasn't gonna? He finger banged during the limo, and then what did that? Come on. Fuck?
What about that, Kevin? What about that, Kevin? Like she's getting finger banged in the limo. You telling me once she got up there, she also, I know women change their mind, but come on, she wanted to bang Mike Tyson. He was on top of the world. Why would she change her mind all of a sudden?
Hey, sometimes a finger bang is just a finger bang.
That's true.
Ever.
Anyway, you know what though, Kevin? But listen, Kevin brings up some good points. Like we don't know. Oh, did he hang up? By the way, yeah, he's on the air anymore. Listen, Kevin brings up some good points. I think we should look into this case and do a second renaissance on it. A proper boxing show because it does have to do with boxing. So I think we should.
I have to say. Yeah, hang on. I have to say this, bro. Let me tell you something real quick. This goes for everybody. Finger bang a chick and don't get nothing in return. And you're past high school, you're a fucking vagina. That's all. Okay. Said sometimes a finger bang's just a finger bang. Yeah, my balls. What are you gonna do? Fucking smoke all my weed. I finger bang and you go home the fuck out of here.
Well, I guess.
You're at least gonna try for it. He ain't gonna get to the point where you Mike Tyson a bitch. I mean, rape a bitch, but man, you finger bang a girl and she about to leave, you getting called, I'm throwing a shoe at you on the way out.
I am a victim of masculinity.
All right, listen, you know what? I guess I'm a vagina because I've been there, man. Finger banging and then you can't cross the finish line. It's like in soccer. You kick, you get a free kick, hits the post, almost there, didn't quite get there.
I'm really drunk. Really, I am. I'm out of my head.
All right, listen, we got another phone call. What's that?
Speaking of hitting the post, that sounds like when you banging a girl and it come out and like you fucking, the dick come out and then you hit her like right above the fucking twat and you bend your shit. You know what I'm talking about.
I think I do. Yeah. The worst is when you go.
From now on, I'm calling that hitting the post.
Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about, Revolution.
Hey, guys. Isn't the worst when you try to finger bang a girl, you pull the panties down and you finds out he's got a dick? That's the worst, man. I think we've all been there. Or maybe just me. What?
Nothing.
It's just me then? All right, fine. Let's go to 9-5. Hold on. Let's go to 954. 954, you're on the air. 954.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. What's on your mind?
Well, I mean, I had a different thought, but since the Mike Tyson thing went on so long, the guy that called in before was talking about, how Tyson basically thought he was above the law. Back at that time, a lot of people thought they're above the law. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, Motley Crue, the band, used to think that they could do anything, like throw trash cans through freaking cops' windshields, and they barely went to jail. So when you think you're above the law, bad things can happen.
Absolutely,
it leads to people making bad decisions. So I'm not accusing Mike Tyson. I never thought he did it. I was only in high school when it went down, but I mean, I kind of thought it was a sexual version of buyer's regret, if you will, and that's kind of what the route she took. But at the same time, when you're doing everything that Tyson was doing and causing the wrecks that he was causing in public and getting away with it because you're not going to jail, just like Guns N' Roses, just like Motley Crue, just like the 90s Dallas Cowboys, bad things are eventually going to happen.
You know what, man? That's a good point. Because in court, you got to prove beyond in court, you got to prove beyond a doubt that a crime happened or that the person didn't do it. In this case, when it comes to rape, like Kevin from Chicago said, the previous caller, he said it's a case of he said, she said. I remember reading about the case a long time ago, and I remember coming out of it thinking, you know what? If I would have been a juror, it seems to me like Mike Tyson didn't do it. But again, it's been a long time since I've looked into the case, so.
I mean, allegedly, once upon a time, maybe this, I might have the broad down the stairs. Maybe, I mean, that's what they say anyway. I couldn't tell you if it's true or not, but as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't. She jumped on me like a fucking screaming monkey. I threw her off of me, then she fell. She was hammered. What do you want from me? It was an accident.
Well, that's a Johnny Boy perspective and his experiences with women. Again, it's not indicative or representative of everybody here be boxing, but yes, caller, go ahead.
Well, to wrap my thought up on that part, if you don't mind, it's just the fact that society has moved to where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty on all counts of any charge that comes against you, but society's gone to the point where a woman points the finger at a man on something that happened of that nature. It's the other way around. You have to prove you didn't do it, not that you did. And that's the way it seems. I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, I grew up in a house of 3 sisters. I got a daughter. From that perspective, I'd say it's good. But if I was on the other end of that, I don't know how I'd feel. God forbid that ever happens. But since this is the What If show, I had a few other thoughts that I would like to run by if you guys want to take the time to possibly entertain a few.
Well, you know what? Tell it. I'll be listening. I got to go to the little boys' room. You go ahead and I'll be listening here on my phone, but tell it to Revolucion and Johnny Boy, and I'll be listening and I'll comment on that, right? So go ahead.
I'm all ears, brother.
The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you. Whenever you guys are ready. I take it that you're ready. Okay. So going into the 15th round of Holmes versus Norton, the fight was a draw from what I've been told and what I've read. So what if Ken Norton would have won that last round? How would that have changed the heavyweight landscape in history?
Well, they probably would have ran it back, bro, but that would have been a fucking great historic win for Kenny Norton on paper, dog. I mean, an undefeated prime Larry Holmes, forget about it, dog. You know what I'm saying?
But Norton's known for not, being a hot and cold fighter. So how long would he have kept the title versus where Holmes, like you said,
it would have depended. It would have depended on who he fought after Larry, bro.
Yeah, you got a good point there. I'm not denying, but I mean, if memory serves, his career wasn't very. He lost to Larry and had already fought Ali 3 times. Am I correct?
Yes, you can speak up a little bit, brother.
All right, I'll do my best. I'm in the garage right now, so can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, so my point is, I'm thinking that was like the end of the effectiveness of Norton was pretty much after that fight, because not too long after that.
Yeah.
If memory serves. So basically, I mean, Cooney could have ended up being heavyweight champion.
He after the three Ali fights, which were all real good fights, the Norton War, or the Larry Holmes War rather, and fucking getting cracked by Ernie Shavers, bro. That was it for Kenny. Was shot at that point. He might have, like I say, had a couple title defenses, depending on who he fought, bro. But Kenny Norton never dealt well with the big punchers, though. He didn't like the Ernie Shavers and the Jerry Coonies of the world. Oh, that's my answer
about
for
that.
you.
But I mean, that's just, you just think about one small 3-minute situation could have changed the entire heavyweight division, the history of it.
Yeah, but in the same breath, brother, they could have easily just ran it back and had a rematch, and Holmes could have won the rematch. That's that's if woulda, coulda, shoulda type shit.
Yeah, because it was such a good fight. There could have been an immediate rematch. In which case,
which I'm sure it would have been because Larry Holmes was on the come up and Kenny Norton was like an established OG already at that point.
You're true. A lot of people don't realize though that Holmes was forcing that fight a little bit early because he had a torn bicep, but Don King pushed the issue and wanted to make that fight sooner than later. So he wasn't even 100% in that fight.
I mean, it would just depend on what direction Kenny Norton would have went after the win. He won that fight. I mean, they might have had a rematch. He might have fucking had to fight Ernie Shavers again. Like, it just, that's in the parallel universe, though. Like BDA's talking on the, I mean,
I got one for the caller back at you. Pretty similar thought. What if Larry Holmes, when he was fighting Tyson, didn't get his arm caught on the rope?
At that stage of Larry Holmes' career, I don't think it would have mattered.
Okay.
Are you talking? Did you say Larry Holmes, or you mean Razor Ruddock?
Ah, fuck! It's Razor Ruddock. Wait, who? Didn't they both? I thought Larry Holmes was.
Yeah, because
after the press conference, he was talking about, "Oh, I went to."
No, he knocked Holmes completely out with the left hook. Dropped him like a ton of bricks. He threw a right to the body and left hook to the head against Ruddock. Ruddock started going backwards. He tried to follow up with a flurry, was hitting him with like clubbing forearm shots, not intentional, mind you. These were just shots that were going over the head. And then he clipped him with one left hook, barely on the chin. Ruddock went back, and his right arm, like you said, went over the ropes, and that's why supposedly Richard Steele stopped the fight.
All right, yeah, okay. I got it twisted. My bad.
No worries.
Well, if you want to talk about Larry,
all I do is watch boxing.
There's another Larry Holmes parallel scenario. He claims that he didn't have enough time to train for the Mike Tyson fight. But the Don King wanted it done, and he got paid a lot of money, so he said, fine. To this day, he still claims that if he would have had a full training camp, it would have made a difference. Would it have made a difference? That's my question.
Well, it's difficult to say based off of what some people will say off of what a properly trained and motivated Larry Holmes did against Ray Mercer. But Ray Mercer was he was strong, tough, great chin, powerful, but a lot more limited than Mike Tyson. But still, a 42-year-old Larry Holmes did take on a 29, 30-year-old Ray Mercer and school him. So the thing about it is, even though people said Holmes did well early against Mike Tyson, he didn't land anything. He moved around the ring. He showed some good movement, but he didn't really throw anything or use anything that made you think that he could do anything other than survive. Given what you're saying about wasn't properly prepared. But there's nothing else to show the fact that at that moment in time on his career that could have gotten him ready for someone as dynamic as Mike Tyson. Because Tyson could punch, he had speed, and he was very elusive for the first 5 rounds or so. Could Holmes have tied him up enough to start to mount an offense around round 6 or so? It's a good question, but there's nothing to go off of other than Holmes's word on that.
That's a good point because, okay, let's say his reflexes would have been better. He still got hit a whole lot by guys like Holyfield and Mercer, and those guys couldn't hit as hard as Mike, or they weren't as explosive as Mike Tyson. So it bears to reason that if he was in tip-top condition against those guys and he still got hit, I'm still seeing him getting hit by Mike Tyson if he does have a full training camp. I mean, Mike Tyson was just coming under those shots, coming in with overhand rights and left hooks. I think at best, I think Holmes goes the distance, but like you said, he does it by dancing around and clinching.
Yeah, well, he, even against both Holmes and Mercer, not Holmes, Holyfield, he kind of did the Ali rope-a-dope a little bit. He sat back and was like, you come to me, I'll roll with your shots and block them. If I get a counter, I will. If I want, I'll hold. And that's a lot what Ali did even against Foreman. Not to diminish what Ali did in that fight, but a lot of what he did was I'll use the loose ropes, make you miss, then I'll hold you behind the head and push your head down to my crotch and wear you out. which, you know, most people can't get away with, but Muhammad Ali did. Having said that, that's not going to work against younger and more experienced guys like Holyfield, but it did work against Mercer. But, I mean, Tyson, if you sit against the ropes, he's one of the best body punchers in the history of boxing. If you wanted to hold him, he'd let you hold him all night long. But if you just put your hands against you, he'd treat you like a heavy bag. And he'd find an opening, he'd find your ribs, he'd find your liver, he'd find your kidney, he'd find whatever he needed to get to in order to weaken you. Whether you succumb to that or not, it's a different story. But if you let him pound on you for 12 rounds, you're not going to win.
Absolutely.
I got Larry Holmes winning that fight by knockout.
Which fight?
I thought it was comparing Prime Larry versus Prime Mike.
Oh, okay. No, we weren't talking prime.
That wasn't the question, though. That wasn't the question. That was if Larry Holmes at 38 had time to prepare for a prime Mike Tyson. Now, a prime Larry Holmes versus a prime Mike Tyson, I agree with Johnny 100%. But that wasn't the question that was at hand.
I misunderstood. I misunderstood, brother. That's my fault.
What's the matter with you?
At that point, Dog Tyson would have got him regardless.
Was right in how we interpreted the question. I just don't know who it was.
Well, listen, I'll say this, man. People talk about Larry Holmes and how many defenses did he have of the heavyweight title? 18 or 19 or something like that?
20.
No, he failed.
He was on the cusp of breaking Holmes' record.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay,
not Holmes. He was on the cusp of breaking
Joe Louis's.
He was at a combination of breaking Marciano's record of 49-0 and then closing in on Joe Louis's 25 defenses.
Right.
He still had a handful to go, but he was damn close.
See, people give him credit for that. They give him credit for getting up at that war against Ken Norton or against Travers where he got dropped in that one. They give him credit for that. They give him credit for a whole bunch for beating Mercer when he was at an advanced age. But the thing that impresses me the most is how he held that puke inside his mouth after the Holyfield fight. He finally did vomit after when the bell rang. Just as the bell rang, he walks to his corner, he pukes all over the place. He held that puke in for the whole 12 rounds. That's the most impressive thing to me, man. I don't know how he did it. I'm not even fighting. When I'm drunk and I puke all over the place, I'm not even fighting somebody. So major props to Larry Holmes for that, man. I mean, that guy's a warrior.
Well, they overlook a lot of things. I mean, people think, oh, he didn't fight anybody. People don't realize how good Ronaldo Snipes really was. He just never won a title.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at all the list of guys. Go ahead.
Larry Holmes kicked me and punched me.
Good old Trevor Berbick.
You see that?
Look at all the guys that went on to win titles. You had Trevor Berbick, you had Bone Crusher Smith, you had Tim Witherspoon, who was a very underrated fighter. I mean, the number of guys, Mike Weaver, they all went on to win belts, and they had to go through Holmes first. I mean, people underestimate and underrate what he did while he was there. If there weren't two different belts, then people probably would have said, oh, he didn't fight anybody. But these guys went on to become champions.
That's right. Yeah, Mike Tyson will always be a bit of an enigma to me because we're talking about Larry Holmes and, that's one of Tyson's best wins. But, I don't know. We had that. Remember, Johnny Boy, we were over at your channel and we were doing the tournament, the heavyweight tournament, and we were, a lot of people are high on Mike Tyson, but I don't know, man. Like, put him in there against fucking Joe Frazier, the one that fought Ali in the first fight, and that's how we would see what he's got in the tank. Whether he's actually willing to go to that type of war, or whether he would wilt. I don't know.
Yeah, Joe would have. If
Joe worked,
I honestly, I think Joe would have beat him. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take anything away from what Johnny said, except Mike Tyson did on what was his name? James Quick Tillis went the distance because he kept flurrying into Tyson's body. The shot that staggered him against Bruno was a body shot. In the second round of the Holyfield fight, Holyfield hit him with the right hand to the body. Tyson backed up and lifted his knee up. Body shots, not many people landed them, but the ones that really sat down those shots, they did something to him. He got stacked. He did beat Bruno, but it took him a while to beat Bruno. He had to go the distance with Tillis, and he even said it was because of the body shots. After Holyfield landed that right hand to the body, Tyson wasn't bouncing on his toes anymore for the rest of that fight. Bring in the headbutts and the holding all you want to. Tyson was bouncing on the toes at the beginning of that fight, leaping in with right hands, and Holyfield was having a little bit of trouble with it. Threw one right hand to the body. Tyson was flat-footed for the rest of the fight. Joe Frazier was a hell of a body puncher. So there's your dynamic on the what if of that fight. However, Mike Tyson was worlds faster. Mike Tyson could switch stances, and he had same power in both hands, and he had so much better combinations and was more fluid than Joe Frazier. So now there's your dilemma. Now that's where you debate it. What happens? I don't blame Johnny for saying he thinks Frazier could do it because Frazier turned out looked like he was mentally tougher. But Tyson had stuff that Frazier never seen before.
That's true. That's true. By the way, I will blame Johnny Boy for what he said, so don't worry about it. I'll do it for you. But
I do.
But when it comes to that's a very good point about the Tyson and the body punches. I'll have to rewatch those fights to see exactly how much that he was affected by that. But it's true because I mean a lot of people didn't want to go to the body against Mike Tyson because you got this fucking 220-pound guy coming at you fast as hell. And you know he can rip your head off with one shot. So a lot of guys just didn't want to trade with him. They prefer to just clinch or run the hell away from him. So a guy like Joe Frazier, man, could have tested him. But again, Tyson's combination of speed and power, it's very rare in boxing, especially in the heavyweight division, where power is abundant.
What Tyson did.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Tyson did was the same thing that Ali did. And the same thing that most long-reigning great champions do. They usually don't come around. Now, I'm not saying none of them do, but a lot of them don't come around at the beginning of a reign with a bunch of competition, weed there through all of it, and then still reign for 5 or 10 years. Mm-hmm. He cleaned out an aging heavyweight division of a bunch of underachievers. And Ali didn't clear underachievers, but Cleveland Williams wasn't in his prime. Terrell, what was his name? 6'6" guy. I can't remember his name. Ernie Terrell. Wasn't at the top. He wasn't quite in his early 20s. We all know that Sonny Liston was closer to 35 than he was to 30, even though they said he was 30 years old. So now he did what he's supposed to do, just like Tyson did. He took these old guys and he shipped them out. Goodbye. Pack your bags. I'm reigning now. But none of them came through a list of young, prime, hot prospects that were just as good as him. They cleaned out the division of old guys, and they did it impressively. So that's kind of my take on that.
Okay. Well, the thing I will say about Ali is he did beat. I don't think there's anybody that he didn't fight out there. Maybe I'm wrong, but everybody.
I'm just when the oncoming of when he came in was the end of the Sonny Liston, Floyd Patterson era. Those guys were a good bit older than him, and he did what he was supposed to do as a young fighter. He shipped them all out. He exposed them, saying, "You're the old, I'm the new, and I'm here now." Mm-hmm. That's what a young fighter should do. He should expose the fact that he's better than they are. But it wasn't like he fought a bunch of other equally good. I don't want to take away from his era, but I'll put it more like this: Evander Holyfield was older than most of the guys that he fought, and they were naturally bigger than him, and he had to go through, I won't say a tougher division, but based off of his size and strength, had a tougher time going against these guys. Ali was taller than most of the guys he fought. He was faster than most of the guys he fought. And he was key point younger than most of the guys he fought.
That's a good point, man. That's a good point.
Tyson.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I mean,
he hadn't even really approached his prime when he was beating these guys. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, that's one of the main criticisms of almost every fighter out there is like, well, he came in when the other guys were older, and at some point they got to work their way to wait before somebody else comes up to fight them. Somebody build themselves up so that they can have a nemesis. In Tyson's case, he burned out so quickly that he never really found that guy that could, Holyfield was there, but then by the time he was coming up, Tyson was in the heavyweight division. Tyson got shipped off to jail. So, it's that's another what if. Yeah. What if Tyson wouldn't have gone to jail? Would he have fought George Foreman, or would he have fought Holyfield? And what would have happened?
Or what if Tyson beat Douglas?
Or what if Tyson got a rematch?
That would change anything?
If Tyson would have lost to Douglas, he would have lost to somebody else soon afterwards because he was on a self-destructive pattern. And I don't think that would have taught him the lesson he needed. But if he would have got a rematch with Douglas, I would have felt sorry for Douglas.
Yeah, probably, man. Probably no. If he would have had a proper Enswell instead of a condom filled with water, then we could have possibly been different from Mike Tyson. Listen, caller, we're gonna have to move on. Excellent call as always. I always forget to call you what to call you because I'm sorry about that. It's not about
You can just call me Jay.
Jay.
My first
All right,
name's
Jay.
Jay. And I tell you what, if you don't mind me adding this one thing, I used to be a coach. I've worked some corners. I've been a referee and stuff like that. I've done it all voluntarily. You've got my number right here. If you're short somebody on the show, feel free to give me a call. I don't need to be involved in anything financially on your end, regardless of what your show does. I don't want to know. I don't care to know. But I have no problem being on the show talking some boxing. So I appreciate your time, and I enjoy your show. Keep it up.
Thank you. Now, would you be willing to join the BDA cult?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. But
I've
you
already
gotta.
got you guys on that. Somebody recommended one of those apps to put on my phone. I'm not an app guy. I'm not even really much of a social media guy. But I hit you guys up on I can't remember the name of the site. But anyway, I already got you guys on my phone, so that's how I knew this show was on. I'll be part of the cult. You just tell me what you need.
Fantastic.
Call me up anytime.
Now, part of the cult involves homosexual stuff, so you already said you want to be part of the cult, so you can back up now. All right, thank you, Jay, for calling in, man. We'll catch you on the next one, all right, man?
I guess
You just hang up on.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, take it easy, man. There you go, another follower. What's
I
that?
like him. I had a feeling that he had some kind of formal. He was a coach or something because I liked his analysis.
That's right.
Making some points.
Yeah, the guy's got moxie. All right, let's go to another phone call real quick because he's been waiting for a long time. He's got blue balls at this point. Let's go to 226. You're on the air, 226.
What's going on, everybody?
Not much, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, this is Slugger Slam. I was overhearing you guys talking about the Mike Tyson, the rape case, and I want to put in my 2 cents, if that's all right.
All right. No. All right. Go ahead. Yes. Please.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. Let me just start off with the actual fact that everybody needs to know, and that caller was saying earlier. He was so sure that Mike Tyson was a convicted rapist, and I want to shut him up. I want to shut him up because the fact is nobody was there on the night of July 1991 in that hotel room there, right?
That's a good point.
None of us were there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the truth is, none of us really know what happened, all right? We can only speculate and have our opinions, and that's all that cocksucker's got, is his opinion.
Well, in other words, we're all cocksuckers.
But listen.
Yes.
Listen. Let me just hold on. Just let me finish.
Go ahead.
Here's what I'm trying to say. I think it could go either way. I think it can go either way. That Mike could have done it, or that fucking Desiree Washington cocksucker bitch wanted his money. It could have went either way, you know. Because the matter of fact is, you know what I mean? If somebody can take advantage of your funds, don't take advantage. You know what I mean? I've seen it happen before. But at the end of the day, the kid was correct about some things. That Mike was a savage. He was, off the hook here and there. But if I had to really analyze it, I would say Mike was innocent.
Well,
I would say Mike was innocent. And that caller can go suck a cock.
This guy's awesome. This guy's the best, right?
I like this guy. Straight to the point. No holding back.
I feel like we got the fucking jerky boys on the line.
I feel like this guy's like a third cousin of mine right now. You understand? Yeah.
I was gonna say, but I didn't want to say that and rope your family into it, John. But all right, you
don't worry about it.
You recognize it.
Don't worry about the revolution.
Listen, here's my thing, man. And again, I want to do a show specifically on this issue because, this was 1992, 91, whatever, when the whole thing happened. It wasn't what it is now, the Me Too thing.
1991.
That's right. Thank you, Harvey Keitel. But the thing is that, it was a different time. And even then, they railroaded Mike Tyson. And again, like the caller said, none of us were there. But I find it hard to believe that this woman was there with Mike Tyson. She knows who he is. She wants to bang him. She's getting finger bagged in a limousine. She goes up to his room. Okay, let's say she says, no, I don't want it. She changes her mind. Do you really think Mike Tyson's going to keep going? He can go downstairs at the hotel lobby and find another fucking hot bitch to bang. He doesn't have to fucking rape a woman. So that's what, again, none of us were there, but I can't tie my...
That's incorrect. That's incorrect. I'll have to stop you there.
Yeah.
Right? So when it comes to some men, no does not mean no. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but do you think it applied to Mike Tyson?
Let's just be honest here. Listen. Let's just be honest here. You up there, you fooling around with a nice sort of pretty young thing, and she starts saying, after 2-3 minutes into, she starts saying, no, I don't want to. Your response is not, okay, honey. Well, I'm gonna go downstairs and find another fucking broad. That's not what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, nah, come on, sweetheart. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
so
I agree.
I don't really believe. Listen, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. A lot of these broads, this is what they do. They fool around with the guy, and pretty much their perspective is, oh well, in my mind, I didn't really want to do it, so I feel like I got taken advantage of. You know what I mean? But the thing is, you weren't supposed to be in his hotel room to begin with, but you was there being a skank hole that you are. That's all you do. You're a skank bitch, but you're over here trying to take advantage of this man's money just like that cock-sucking Robin Givens did, All
right, but now, caller, I'm confused now. So what are you saying? So, caller, I'm confused. So what are you telling me? Are you saying he did do it, or are you saying he didn't do it?
No. I never said he did it or he didn't do it. I never said that. Listen. I don't want no lawyers coming after me. You hear me?
Nobody's gonna go after you. Trust me.
Oh no. I don't want no lawyers and no taxmen coming after me, telling me to pay up. I don't got that kind of money. I don't.
Caller. If you get a call, caller, if ever, God forbid, knock on wood, if ever you get a call and somebody says, hey, you're the guy that was calling on BDA's show, we're coming after you. Give me a call. I'll give you Rayful Shapiro's number, and he'll be taken care of, all right? Trust me on that one.
You'll give me whose number?
Rayful Shapiro. If you don't know who Rayful Shapiro is, you can't afford him, but I'll get him to work pro bono on your case, all right?
Well, listen, this is what I was trying to say, okay? I'm not saying any of that, but this is what I'm saying, right? I made it very clear earlier that we weren't there, so we don't really know what happened. But all I'm saying is that she was in his fucking room. So, listen, if I had to really pick what I think happened, right, I think she was at fault more than he was. You understand? Listen, you let the man finger fuck you, and then you want to act all surprised? What the fuck?
I agree. It makes no sense. Like, it's this woman, it seems to me...
But this is... The only thing I disagreed with you was where you said that if she said no to him, that he would walk out of the room and go find somebody else. It's not that easy, man.
Well, listen, I know it's not easy.
It ain't that easy. You're not going to just walk.
But for a guy like Mike Tyson, just like any other guy, would press to try to find, get to the holy of holies. But then after a while, they would move on. If she says no enough, the guy would move on. And especially a guy like Mike Tyson, who, like I said, could go to the lobby and find any old other skank he wanted to. It's like, it's not that... Who was it? There was a baseball player. He was banging this old, not a great-looking broad. And somebody asked him, why are you banging her? He goes, well, there was nobody else. Might as well, fuck this skank. So that's some guys, that's a baseball player. He had to go low, but he went after it. He had options. Same thing with Mike Tyson. I think, I doubt that he continued to press on to the point where it was rape. That's my thing. That's my feeling. But like you said, none of us were there. So I'm not going to die on this hill. You get what I'm saying? But I find it hard to believe that he would have pressed on.
Listen, listen. I'm gonna tell you something. I do, because I don't know. I don't want to get off topic. You know what I mean? I don't want to take much more of your time. I know you guys are busy over here, but this is the thing. I don't know if you guys remember the whole Michael Jackson thing, but one of the kids came forward when he got older, and he said, "My daddy told me to do it so we can make some money. He told me to go and lie about Michael Jackson so we can make some money." Right? Again, I'm not saying that's the whole thing with MJ. I don't know, and I don't really care. But I'm just saying, as much as I know that bitches do that shit, I still, a part of me still, I'm not gonna fully defend Mike, because I think any man is capable of doing that to a woman. Like I like to be objective. You know what I mean? I like to be logical and factual. And I'm not going to completely defend Mike just to find out he did something scummy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, man, listen, at the end of the day, I think Teddy Atlas said it best about him. He said that, Customato let him get away with too much stuff, to be honest. You know?
Well, it's true. I mean, he was a,
I love Iron Kid.
Now listen, if you're a prosecutor and you got Mike Tyson there, mean-looking, criminal past, it's not gonna be that hard to get half the jury to believe that he might have done it. Again, we're gonna do a special episode on this whole thing because it does seem to bring out some very interesting points of view. So we're gonna focus on that. But caller, by the way, I wanted to ask you: are you Bobby Gunn, the bare knuckle guy?
The who?
Are you Bobby Gunn, the bare knuckle fighter?
No. I told you earlier, I'm Slugger Sam. They call
Slugger
me Slugger
Sam.
Sam.
Okay, I thought you were.
Because I swear to God, listen. You want me to tell you why they call me Slugger Sam? I swear to God, I'm not lying to you.
Go
I
ahead.
had a girl one time. She came up to me. She's asking me. She says, "Hey, sweetheart, can you give me a ring?" Right? And I told her, "All right," and I gave her one around her eye.
Okay, wait. That sounds like one of those jokes you hear around the bars from one of the longshoremen. That's a Slugger Sam.
That's a true story. I'm not even making that up. You ask about me. Listen,
All right, so now I see why he
about me.
thinks
Listen,
Mike
I'm
Tyson
Slugger Sam.
wasn't guilty.
Yeah, if I had to pick overall, I would say Mike Tyson is not guilty. But like I said, any man is definitely capable of doing that. So I'm not going to defend him 100%. But
the key is like you said.
Listen, man, Mike Tyson, huh? Sorry, Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny.
All right,
Johnny.
it's revolution, but we're kind of treading water here. We're kind of going over the same
Go ahead, Johnny.
thing. We're talking in circles. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, Johnny.
Talking in circles.
Hey, Johnny, tell Slugger Sammy to go fuck himself, Johnny. Go ahead.
Slugger Sam, go fuck yourself, all right?
Oh, that's Johnny Boy, by the way, saying that. It's not Revolution. That's Johnny Boy. So now we got Slugger Sammy versus Johnny.
Listen.
Yes.
Johnny, calm down. The caller's very
Johnny,
nice. Go fuck yourself,
Johnny,
Revolution.
Johnny, don't make me come over there. You're not going to like what I'm going to do to you. Don't make me come over there.
All right.
Listen, you could come around my way. You know where I'm at. We'll put the gloves on.
Well, first, listen, I'm not talking about no gloves over there, Johnny. I don't put gloves on. That's not why they call me Slugger Slam.
No. Slugger,
all right.
I don't put no gloves on.
Johnny got off the line.
Listen,
No. Johnny got off the
what do you
line,
think?
and I'm doing the voice. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, that's Revolution. That's not Johnny Boy. We're just fucking with you.
I'm pretending to be Johnny.
All right, because I was going to say, trust me, Johnny don't want it with me, man. I don't put gloves up. I'm not Floyd Mayweather. I'm not Pernell Whitaker. I'm not over here to be defensive. I'm going to fucking Ernie Shavers your ass. I'm going to Ernie Shavers you. You keep talking to me like that.
Yeah, and by the way, now you're gonna get people saying, "Oh, BDA is you guys are laughing at women beating jokes." Hey, we laugh at everything, and if you can't handle it, I don't know what to tell you. All right, listen, Slugger Sammy, thank you for calling in. We're gonna have to move on, but great call. Call back next time, all right, man?
All right, thanks, fellas. You take it easy.
You too, man. Have a good one.
Oh goodness, Slugger Sam, I love him.
Don't go around beating up women. All right, let's go. Great call, man. One of the best. Great calls today so far. I mean, we always got.
Give me a sec before we go on to the next one. I know we're on a roll with the callers, but with the fucking Jerky Boys, right? With Jerky Boys, I know I brought them up on the first Jerky Boys album. There's a track called "The Home Wrecker," and that guy's voice is exactly like Slugger Sammy's. That character, hey, it's Jocko Johnson. Yeah, I'm calling for demolition here. I want you to come down and knock down my ex-wife's house. You see there, she's got with another man, and I'm sick of her. I'm going to knock the place down and put up a hot dog stand. Fucking same voice, dude. That's Slugger Sam, I'm telling you.
I think that is Slugger. Yeah, might be, man. Might be part of the Jerky.
Jerky Boys home wreck.
All right, let's go to the phone calls real quick. 470. You're on the air. 470.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Is the conversation about the Tyson rape case or his career, or a combination of both?
I don't know what it turned into, man. Right now, it is definitely Mike Tyson for the moment.
What do you want to talk about, caller?
So,
whatever you want.
I just kind of want to push back. There's a lot of I don't know. I feel like it's kind of being led by Teddy Atlas, but a lot of people have this thing where they want to diminish Mike Tyson's achievements and his accomplishments and his career. It's become kind of fashionable to say he wasn't as good as what people say he was. Let's remember that this guy was the youngest heavyweight champ in the history of boxing, undisputed champ at 20 years old. If that was so easy, it would have been done before. It would have been repeated again. It hasn't been. He was undisputed champ from 87 to 90, 3 years with all the belts. He took on all the contenders. I heard y'all talking about Larry Holmes earlier. Larry Holmes had only lost to Michael Spinks up until when he fought Tyson. And after he fought Tyson, I think you mentioned it, he did beat Ray Mercer. After he was KO'd by Tyson, he also went the distance with Holyfield. So, I feel like I feel like he was a great fighter, obviously. I just think that he's getting this. I don't know. I just feel like there's some people out there who, for some reason, like to kind of downplay what he achieved. In terms of the rape case, it is what it is. From reports I've read, the woman had made up a false claim before. She was riding around in his limo, kissing the dude. She went up to his hotel room at 3 a.m. I think, unfortunately for Tyson, the thing is with Tyson, the way he lived his life, I think, to the people who are involved in Mike Tyson's world, crazy world, hearing his stories, they're not, I guess, afraid or intimidated by what they hear. But to the average person, and definitely the person who sits in a jury, when they probably hear his views on women, how he used to live his life, his lifestyle, I think it would be, it's the average person who's not, exposed to that kind of lifestyle, the average square person. I mean, they're gonna when they hear about Tyson and the things he says and how he behaves. Again, I don't think he's a rapist, but I mean, it's going to be very difficult to defend a guy like that in front of a jury.
It's a good point.
That's
what I've got.
There's one
good point.
One quote comes to my mind when there's a female interviewer. He said, I normally don't talk to women unless I fornicate with them. So unless, you're gonna, then we're done.
But that was him. I think that was just him being an asshole because, none of these fighters want to be doing those press junkets and talking to the press. But I mean, the caller did make a great point about I had forgotten that. Lie.
Hold up. He's not going to lie. You know what I mean? That is indicative of what he thinks about bitches. Look, I ain't talking to you unless I'm fucking. That's
true. That's true. That's true. But
that's what it is for everybody. It's me too.
But hold on. Now, the caller did bring up a good point about, and I'd forgotten that detail, about that Desiree Washington had already accused somebody else of rape. Now, was this bitch so hot that every guy was out there trying to rape her, or was she out there? She was in like a beauty pageant, right? If I remember correctly.
She was, yeah. And I'm going to say this. A lot of these guys, you mess around with a lot of women, especially a lot of these celebrity guys. I think Kobe Bryant, it was the same thing. A lot of these guys, they use these girls. I don't want to say that, but they bang them out and do whatever, and then they treat them like complete shit when it's over. And I think that Tupac had the same issue too. Mm-hmm. So these women, it's like they may have consented. Maybe it was borderline consent, but maybe after the way they were treated, I read that Tyson said that she wanted him to walk her down to the limo, but he said he was too tired, from the hotel room. So maybe during those steps or when she was going down the elevator, she was like, no, he treated me wrong. It could have been that, but a lot of these guys is because of the way they, and I would advise any guy, I don't care who you are, if you're a celebrity or not. I would just advise you, make sure you get that consent in some form of text message, or whatever you got to do to get documentation, because we're people here are judging Mike Tyson and judging all these people. It takes as an accusation from somebody. You're facing the same. You're facing the same legal system. So, by
the way, great advice.
On that.
Great advice. And also, you also made a great point. I want to mention it before I forget it. You made a great point about how the jury were mostly squares, and the people in the chat room just reminded me, because that was another detail that was in the book, which was that T-Tone says, how about a black millionaire in front of a white jury? And Steve Brown says, especially in white Indiana. I just remember that they reminded me of that detail, which was that they moved the case. I think it had happened. I forget where it had happened, but they decided to move it to Indiana or someplace that's predominantly white. And like you said, a bunch of squares. Guys are going to see a big black guy who's... Yeah, and by the way, you got to remember, the average person out there who's not a boxing fan, they think all boxers are a bunch of savages. So you take a big black guy who's used to knocking people out, unconscious, getting into street fights, criminal past, and boom, all of a sudden the rape case. Now, some people are going to say, hey, if he had a criminal past, let's not put it past him to rape somebody. But his crimes were in regards to petty theft and all that, holding up old women, which is despicable. But it's a fine line between there's a line between that and rape, especially when he's a millionaire at that point and he can bang anybody he wants. I'm not convinced about the rape thing, and that's why we want to get to the bottom of it and do a special show on that specifically. But it's a very good point, caller.
Absolutely, and I'll add this. I'm an educated guy. I got an MBA. I work in IT. But even with people, even with colleagues, I don't talk about boxing. I don't. That's why I like to call into shows like this where I can talk to people. Or even when I go to a boxing, it's a completely different world. When I go to a boxing gym or an MMA gym, or when I'm in the square, like the square world. Square people, they view people like us who like fighting. They view us as degenerates. They view boxing fans and people involved in boxing as degenerates, psychos, crazy people, evil, savage. Not that we're not evolved.
Mm-hmm.
So can you imagine? You're Mike Tyson. You come from Brownsville, Brooklyn. You got no education. You have a history of, you have a criminal history. You're on record. They can see the way you talk about women. They can see all. This guy had. Come on. This guy had, and to a square jury. I'm talking about, when I say square, I'm talking about people who maybe were virgins up until they were married. I'm talking about people in Indiana.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, we're talking about people in Indiana who, and then you see this guy, Mike Tyson, talk about banging this chick here, this chick here, this chick here. He likes to make them feel pain. He likes to, and you listen to this. You're thinking, yo, we got to lock this dude up. That's what you're thinking.
It's true, man.
That's what, look, I got a homeboy of mine, educated guy. He works. He's got a job. He does it. He makes good money. But even he likes to. We talk about this stuff. He likes women, to feel pain when it's over with, and he tells me this stuff. Now, can you imagine if this type of conversation got leaked to the public? Or if he faced a trial. And this is these are the things that people feel privately, or they and it's leaked, and this is an ordinary guy. But people do these things. But can you imagine if it's Mike Tyson, a guy who's knocking people out? You know, like I said, he's from Brownsville, Brooklyn. He's got a criminal past, and they hear him talk about, you know, all this stuff. I mean, I'm telling you right now, they're thinking we got to lock this dude up and throw away the key. That's what they're thinking.
These Indiana white folks, they start thinking he's going to be raping grandma next.
There you
know
go.
what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. I think this is one. Hold on. I think this is one of those. Like I said, I think this is one of those cases. Race definitely played a part in Tyson getting locked up. And you know, he could have gone. I can't. This woman. There's just too many bizarre elements here. Again, we're gonna dig up the case to really get to the bottom of this. And by the way, let's not forget the very important point that I made also a couple of hours ago, which was the lawyers. He had some fucked up lawyers that weren't even experts in criminal defense. I think they were tax lawyers or something. And that's what Don King, those are the lawyers Don King got him. If he would have had Rafael Shapiro, attorney extraordinaire, things could have been very different, believe you me. By the way, I see we got Gonzalo.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I see we got Gonzalo on the line. Gonzalo, you there?
Hey, how's it going, guys? How you doing, Mr. BDA?
Good to have you on board, man. You want to chime in on this whole Tyson thing? I mean, do you have any points of view on that, or?
I'm just listening. It's interesting. I remember that one reporter that asked Mike Tyson. It was a black guy. You know, he was very condescending, and he told him he was a rapist, and Mike Tyson told him to fuck off. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember. It happened. It was here in Canada. It happened, and
oh wow.
The reporter, I like how the reporter mentions it so casually. And then afterwards, because, you know, Mike Tyson started swearing on national television, a morning show. And then the reporter has the goal to go on the air and go on the internet. He went online afterwards on Twitter and he goes, "I'm fine, everybody. Thank you for asking." It's like, nobody cares. You didn't get assaulted, man. Just some fucking animal, Mike Tyson, who is a fucking hothead. He swore on television because you call him a rapist. Nobody cares about you, man, and how you felt afterwards. I mean, this guy, the balls on this reporter to make it about him. I mean, yeah, that's... Oh, hold on a second. I'm trying to play this clip. I'm going to play the clip here.
When I heard say that, you know what I mean? And I don't have no comment to that, you know, because it's negative. And
okay, I think he's talking about... Because the guy brought...
Now, some of your critics would say, you know, there's a race for mayor. We know you're a convicted rapist. This could hurt his campaign. How would you respond to that?
Hey, I don't know who said that. You're the only one I heard say that. You know what I mean? And I don't have no comment to that. You know?
Actually, upon listening to it again, the guy the reporter just mentioned, he didn't call him he didn't say you're a rapist. He said you're a convicted rapist, meaning I'm not saying you did it, but on paper it says, you know, you're a convicted rapist. So, but then
but still, you know, sneaking that shit in on him, you know.
That's true.
He has that face that look like a guy that you just want to punch in the face.
Who, Mike Tyson or the reporter?
The reporter.
Oh, okay.
But that's how the news does, man. They get you on there, especially if you're a celebrity. They ease talk you in, and then you get there, and then we got some nudes of your mother from last week. Explain these, they just spring shit on you, you know.
We got a photo of your 3.5-inch dick erect. Well, you want to talk that one through us? But it's true. That's what they do. And they butter you up. They make you feel safe, and then they pull out the big guns. That's true. So, yeah, I wouldn't put it past this guy for sure. Let's just hear the rest of it. Just when Mike Tyson goes in on him.
Go for it. That was a piece of shit. Of course, like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit.
Hey,
with that comment.
Come on.
No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit.
You know, we're doing live TV.
Man, I don't care. What are you gonna do about it?
All right, you gotta show.
See, when Mike Tyson says, "What are you gonna do about it?" I would have taken off my suit jacket, gotten up, and said, "Well, you want to find out?" That's what I would have said. But this fucking reporter is a pussy, man. He didn't stand up to Mike Tyson, former heavyweight champion of the world. What a pussy. But listen, we're gonna get to the bottom of this because it really did bring up. It's interesting to hear from Kevin from Chicago. It was interesting to hear from Sammy the Slugger. This last caller,
Slugger Sammy. It's Slugger Sammy.
Slugger Sammy. I'm sorry. But what was the name of the other dude? Fuck, the guy who's gonna be joining the BDA cult. No, it wasn't Jeff.
You want to go by Jay? I thought just Jay. That's what.
Yeah, Jay. Thank you. Yeah, I start forgetting. Listen, at my age, you meet so many people, you start forgetting the names. All right, but yeah, Jay. So everybody brought up, and you guys too here on the Discord, excellent points about Mike Tyson and that rape case, because I mean, you guys remember that case of a couple of years ago where this girl, art student, she banged this dude. And she texted him later on, like, "Hey, when are we gonna meet up again so you can stick it in my ass?" And like really lewd stuff on text. So she changed her mind and she started accusing him of rape. And she's the mattress girl. I think you know which one I'm talking about. Yeah,
the mattress girl.
The mattress girl.
I'm gonna literally carry around. You go for it, BDA. You explain.
No, you go ahead. Meanwhile, I'll look it up.
This fucking bitch. You know, what BDA just explained, let's bang, we banged, then I text you and you don't want to bang no more, so now I'm going to accuse you of rape. This girl, she's an art student. So she said this is going to be a piece of performance art for her graduation thing that she has to do, her graduation project. This bitch took the mattress that she supposedly got raped on, and she just carried it around with her on campus. She had to go to class. You see her carrying around this fucking twin mattress on her shoulders. And just like, I'm carrying the weight of the rape that happened to me. And, you know, other girls be helping her carry the mattress. And like, we're helping you carry the weight. And it was fucked. I think she went up and got her diploma with the goddamn mattress, too. And here's the twist. After a while, when everybody stopped caring, she shot like a porno or something. You can't even call it a porno, dude. It was an art thing, but it was like a recreation of the rape. She got some guy to like shoot a porno with her, which was a recreation of a rape that she actually went through. And it's like, yo, do you think, like, do you think anybody would actually do that if they suffered through something? They would then film themselves like reenacting it and then show it to the world, especially when it's like rape, when it's you naked. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna show my naked body, and she's like crying. I watched the whole thing. You know, it was hot. But she's crying, got the makeup smeared, just how I like.
Can you find it on the internet, Revolution?
I gotta dig it up. But
I have it right here. I'm gonna play it for you. No, I'm kidding. Now, yeah, all you gotta do is look up mattress girl porn, and you'll find it. By the way, the guy that she was banging in that video, some fucking fat guy. Real chubby with like one of those small dicks. I think he had a small dick. I didn't really pay attention. But that was the dirtiest thing, was that they allowed her to go up with the mattress, even though at that point, even the university had done an internal investigation. And you know how those things go. They'll convict anybody and expel anybody just if somebody accuses them of rape. Even they found out that there was no evidence that he had raped her. And yet they still allowed her to go up with the mattress. Also, Revolucion brought up the sex tape. There's also... she also she went off the deep end. Not only the porn, but she went into a museum. I'm not going to show you the photos because I can't, but just read a Mattress Girl art exhibit. And she went into like a museum or something. And I don't know how to explain it to you. She got all tied up like BDSM style. And this guy who looks like a university professor was like spanking her and everything. And you just see people standing around there like as if it's a painting. And she's getting slapped and she's half naked. It's just bizarre. This woman was there you go. Yeah. Revolution just sent me.
Show that to everybody.
But I already showed it. I already showed it while you were talking.
They saw that picture. Look
Actually,
at the one that's helping her. Look at that sickened smile. It disturbs me. It disturbs me, man.
Actually, this picture I did not show it. This one, hold on a second. Let me just show it because it is germane to the argument here. Because I mean, she got raped. Why the fuck would she be smiling? Hold on. Let me show it to you guys here on the Discord. This is what the picture that Revolucion sent me. So there you see they're having a good time. This is when she went up. People helped her carrying that soiled mattress, that like fecal matter, dry semen, and like fucking yeast infection liquid over there. And that this girl smiling, that's not the girl. The girl that accused the other guy. Mattress girl is like an Asian. What is she, like half? Oh, and by the way, her parents are also insane, it turns out. I remember I read about this a lot like years ago, so I forget the details. But yeah, it turns out her parents were fucking. Her father was a medic or something, and he was like or a psychiatrist, and he was into some weird research. I don't want to speak out of school because I forget the details. But anyway, I see. Hold on. Who's on the line still here on the phone? 470.
470.
Yeah. Oh, you're still on. Okay. Sorry about that. We went off the deep end here talking about Mattress Girl. What were you talking about though? You're the NBA guy, right?
Yeah, I went back and read, some of what the case, and so she went to his room. Then she said she had to use the bath. This is her testimony. She said she had to use the bathroom, and then she removed her panty liner. So the question is, well, why would she do that unless she's planning to have sex? But I don't know how that was discussed in the courtroom. I think they said the defense was planning to raise that, and then she said that she went back to the bed, and then he just threw himself on her and raped her. That was the account that she gave, to the in the courtroom. But I just find the whole thing. And you guys were talking earlier about him being on that TV show with a guy. I'm sure he didn't know that was going to be said before he went on the air. And a lot of people don't know the facts of this case. When people hear the word rapist, they think about a guy who throws a woman on the ground and rips her clothes off and just violently rapes her. Again, this was a woman who apparently was kissing this dude in the limo, and there was witnesses to that, but they didn't allow that, in the trial. Removed her panty liner, went up to his room at 3 a.m. I'm just, I don't know what they were. Did she think they were going up there to play cards?
Exactly. That's what I said.
I don't
also, what's his name? Seamus Carey in the chat room says panty liner. What year is it, caller? Triple JJ also says she pulled down her knickers. It's like, so people are writing their own.
That was the word used. That was the word. Yeah, that was the word. I just quoted the exact word that was used at the time.
Right. No, I know. People are just having fun in the chat room. But yeah, very good points, man. Very good. At one point, though, I thought you were still talking about Mattress Girl, but then I caught on and you were talking about Mike Tyson. Yeah, man, listen, we're going to do a special episode on that because we really do need to get the bottom of things. Because here's a guy whose name has been besmirched for years now, and it's based off of something he might not even have done. So we're all about justice here at BDA Boxing. All about justice and fairness and virtue. So we're going to get down to that. All right, caller, anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, I just think that, I think most people can kind of see this because, he's rehabilitated his image a great deal. So, I don't know. I just don't think people see that in Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. They just don't see a guy who would do, they just don't see a guy who would do that. I think he was railroaded. He had a bad legal defense. And, I'm always going to be a Mike Tyson supporter. So that's all I got to say.
There you go. All right. Thank you for calling in, man. Catch you on the next one. All right. Take it easy. All right. Let's go to who's here first? Gosh, Darren, I have a. All right. Let's go to 872. 872. You're on the air. 872.
The problem here is people look at these athletes like superheroes. They literally worship these athletes. They think they're invincible. They think they're superheroes, and you're like, they're these superhuman people. They're just people that they're good. They can punch good. They could put the hoop in the ball. They can put the ball in the hoop good. They're just normal humans, man. That have a special talent. They're not superhuman. Quit worshiping these people.
They're guys
these people love worshiping these athletes.
They're
Most
guys
of
that
them are
can,
pieces of shit.
there are guys that can put the glove on the fist on the glove. I mean, the glove on the what?
Yep, exactly.
No, all right. I get what you're saying, Kevin. Listen.
They put ball in hoop.
Oh shit!
Hold
on.
They're not some.
Go ahead.
You feel me, homie?
No, it's true. Listen, there's definitely a cult of sports stars in particular in the United States. I mean, I still don't get how some of these guys get paid millions because they're good at sports. But then again, that's the way the society is, and you know, we don't have to like it, but you can't change it all by yourself. But it's true. But that again, a lot of people are bringing up good points about Mike Tyson. We're gonna dig into this more, Kevin. I want you to dig into this case because I get the feeling that maybe you're going off of more on your own assumptions about Mike Tyson. So we're all gonna do a research, and we're gonna bring it in the near future episode. We're gonna focus just on Mike Tyson, and I'll let people know exactly when we do it, so we get a heads up. All right. All right.
Yeah. And another point on Kobe. People didn't want to bring up that case when he died. Someone was bringing up his past and whatnot. Be like, and all the typical Me Too people, they didn't like it that this is getting brought up. So it's funny like that when it's they don't like it whenever it contradicts their narrative, goes against maybe their beliefs, it calls them out for their hypocrisy. They're all about it, but when it's some famous sports athlete, then maybe not as good time. Maybe that's a bad idea. So that's just brings you back to my original point of worshiping these athletes.
The Kobe thing was
special about them. They're good at sports. Who gives a shit?
The Kobe thing was
easy.
Yeah, take it easy, man. The Kobe thing was surprising.
Easy, Bubba.
The Kobe thing was surprising because people
real about it.
People react when he died.
Did it now,
all right, hold on. When he died, people acted like Mahatma Gandhi had died. I mean, he was a basket. I know people. Listen, people have the right to worship whoever they want, and I know the circumstances were different because it was a whole bunch of other people that died with him, including one of his daughters. But it's like Michael Jordan crying, fake crying, by the way, and all that. It's like I don't know. It seemed like they were giving China and North Korea fodder for their propaganda efforts to say, look at these Americans crying so much and making a big deal out of a sports star dying. I mean, come on. But you know what? Hey, listen, I'm not saying it wasn't tragic, but I think it was a little bit overdone. I think. All right, that's just my opinion.
Look, on when I was on Facebook when it happened, I was shocked at some of the black people I know how fucking deep they got with it. Like, it was weird, man. It was a little bit weird, and how like I didn't really was he that big of an icon to that community?
Apparently,
I guess so.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I want to emphasize. That's why I was surprised because I knew he was famous, but I didn't know he was that famous to the point where people were weeping about Kobe Bryant. See, it's interesting how people made fun of the North Koreans. People made
men. I'm sorry, but men that I know, right and long. Oh, it's so sad and so.
Wasn't he also charged with rape as well?
Well, he was charged, but nothing ever came out of it in college. I think he was with a Colorado hooker or something. But it's interesting. I was going to say North Korea. They made fun of the North Koreans when the other dude, the old guy with the weird haircut. What was his name? Kim Jong-un or whatever his name was. When he died, and they showed a video of people crying, and everybody on social media was like, look at these crazy Koreans. Could say the same thing about Kobe, man. All these people weeping over a sports star. I mean, hey, listen, you play by the gun. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. And if you're making fun of other people based on who they worship, you better be able to take a joke yourself, man. Because it happened too. Remember that comedian Ari Shafir? I think we talked about it on Second Renaissance. How immediately he wasn't really joking though, so I understand why people got mad at him. But right as after Kobe Bryant died, he made a video saying, "Good, he was glad that Kobe died, whatever." And man, some of the death threats he got. You would think he was the one that had killed Kobe or something. I mean, it was insane. All right, real quick, let's go to last phone call because I think that the lines are about to close. 314, you're on the air. 314.
Hello?
Yes, 314, you're on the air. Yeah, we can hear you. What's on your mind, man?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I just want to say, like they were bringing up earlier, like sending the trial out to Indiana because they were expecting a certain crowd. We think anybody in these camps didn't know what was going to go on, and you think none of them were black and, like, hoping to go after this guy, like talking about Tyson, when it comes to him going to
making sure they get rid of him. I have no doubt that Don King and people like that were involved with all that because they wanted other people to push for a while, and they knew they'd still make money on the back end.
That's a good point. That's a good point because how would Don King? Don King's Don King's a guy that went to a couple of trials himself. Did he really think, hey, let me give Tyson?
Sir. Yes, sir.
That's a good point. Why would Don King give him 2 attorneys or a bunch of attorneys that aren't experts in criminal defense? I mean, that makes that like. Was he on coke himself and not thinking straight, or maybe the caller has a point? What do you guys think? All right, caller, you go.
I don't think Don King does anything that he doesn't think is going to make Don King a little money.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point. That's what you just got me. You just got me on the conspiracy road here. I think so.
Like personally, there's no way in the world that would happen unless, there's no way in the world that they would let that happen there unless they wanted it to happen there. One of the worst places in the world to have a trial for a guy like him.
That's true. And Brian Harking in the chat says, well, they were cheap. I don't know. When people say, oh, this guy was cheap or this happened because of incompetence or whatever, sometimes those are just synonyms for malignancy. Some of these guys maybe were malignant.
Well,
maybe they want. Yeah, but then again, maybe you're right. Maybe they did want to send Tyson away. Maybe he pissed them off or something. Maybe he wanted to break from Don King or something. I don't know. Look, at this point, anything can.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know the inner workings. Maybe he was trying to break loose, and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna break loose? I'll show you what happens."
Possibly.
It's possible.
Absolutely. But like I said, man, look, I want everybody to do a little research on this because I'm certainly going to look this up, and we're going to do an episode soon on specifically that issue because it is like I said, it's important, man. I mean, a guy's life, he got years taken away of his life, and he's got a record now that says that he's a convicted rapist. So I think it is important to look into it.
And there's a lot of weird factors that you brought up earlier with that woman too, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole panty liner thing and the fact she was a gold digger a little bit too.
Oh yeah, totally. And I mean, it was a crowded circle, and I could see where they were like, if we move him out of the way and save him, and let these people duke it out, and then have some mega fights when he comes back, it makes sense to me, money wise. Yeah.
Maybe they also thought he was gonna sober up on in jail or something. I don't know. Look, anything's possible, man.
You know what? That's true too.
Maybe. I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna dig into this case more again to refresh my memory and get all the facts straight because I don't want to be casting dispersions on anybody without having done the research. So I suggest everybody does the same so that when we finally do a show on this, we'll all be informed. And get get as close to the truth as possible. All right, that's my advice.
And one more idea for a show, if it's all right. When are we going to do a show on who's the bigger creep, Deontay or Chavez? Who's the bigger weirdo?
What was that about Chavez wearing high heels? I heard that, but I don't know what they were talking.
Dude, he walks real good in high heels.
But wait, what happened? Is there a video of that?
Oh, dude, you haven't seen that? Oh my
No,
God!
that's what I'm saying.
Like he's runway walking through his house.
Hold on, let me check it out.
And everything.
Let me look it up because I want to see this, and I mean I don't want to see it, but I have to. Oh my God, what is this?
Dude.
Oh my God, I just saw the thumbnail and already I'm cringing. Hold on, let me put it up for everybody on the. And I'm going to share it with you guys on Discord too, because I know you guys. I just realized you guys can't see what I'm saying. Unless you don't want to see it, though. All right, hold on. Let me play it.
I'm all about it.
You
It's
see the little
hilarious.
Hold on. All right, there's this black dude with shirtless. He's not showing the video. What the fuck? I want to see the video. What the hell?
Fight Hype had it up earlier today. They even had like a beat to it. It was hilarious.
Okay, here it is. Yeah, he's walking way too well on those, man. He's not losing his
Dude,
balance or
is
anything.
he? Dude, he's making turns and cuts. You got to learn that.
You have experience with walking in high heels, or?
No, I don't. But I remember being a little bitty boy trying, and it was hard.
Well, I'm going off of the fact that everybody says that it's hard. Even women, women don't fucking naturally walk on heels. They're not programmed for that. They have to learn it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what chicks say.
And then he's doing I don't know, man. I mean,
He's doing the wrong way. He's got the purse on. That throws your weight off.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's a lot of factors working against him, and he's still doing it properly. I mean,
yeah.
And then he's got green hair.
Weirdo hair, shit.
Yeah, he's got green hair. He looks like Milo Yiannopoulos. That's what he looks like. Look at that.
Dude. Hey, is he getting all this stuff from the Mickey Rourke? Is that who's teaching him all this stuff?
Oh,
I know
please.
he hangs out with him a lot.
Please don't tell me Mickey Rourke was walking around on high heels as well.
I hope not, but he might have been filming it.
By the way,
I mean, he helped him get out of wasn't he the one that helped him get out of the ring last time?
I think so, yeah. Gerald Jones in the chat room says Mexican fighters' footwork at its best. that's that Mexican footwork right there, man. Floyd Mayweather, eat your heart out.
People don't know this, but Chavez, he's got another brother.
Thanks a lot, and I'll call you guys next time.
All right, man. Thank you for calling in. Thank you. Call next time, man. Thank you for that.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for bringing up the Chavez thing, or fuck you for bringing it up, rather.
Oh yeah, that was great.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, take it easy, man. Call him back next time. All right, sorry, Gonzalo. What were you gonna say?
He's got another brother who is actually gay. He's got two brothers. There's three brothers total.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a sister, and one of the brothers, he's really a gay dude.
No kidding. Maybe this.
Anyway, he's probably wearing his wife's. Is it what are those things called?
High heels.
High heels.
All right. That's bizarre, man. I mean, maybe he's been hit way too much over the head, and he's going a little bit low. Because I remember that story. There was this rugby player who did a backflip, and he hit himself over the head, and then afterwards he lost consciousness, and when he woke up, all of a sudden he was gay. Like he said, well, he said he was attracted to men all of a sudden, and he blamed it on the blow. I think he just hit his head, and he said, "Oh, now's the perfect opportunity to come out as gay. I'll blame it on the fucking. I'll blame it on the
blow.
head."
I think that's what Oscar De La Hoya did too. He started getting attracted to men. He said, "Oh, it's the blow."
Exactly. Yeah. It was a blood pressure medicine. Got him all fucked up. He could probably get a letter from his doctor saying, "Hey, listen, because of the blood pressure medicine, he likes to suck cock now." So yeah, now he can go to Atlanta and get back in the construction business. The Straight G Tour says his gay brother must train with him. Grievous says estrogen overload. What else? Gerald Jones said they said that was Omar, a meaner fighter, but not as good. Seamus Carey says Gonzo is rattled being a Mexican fanboy. Oh, come on. First of all, Gonzalo's not a Mexican fanboy. Gonzalo, they're calling you a Mexican fanboy, and that you're shook now because you saw Chavez acting like a queer.
Nah.
There you go.
That's why I live in the Philippines.
Exactly. Gonzalo's a man's man. I don't want to hear anybody casting dispersions on him. Aspersions or dispersions? Whatever. Listen, guys. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to Johnny Boy, Revolucion, and Gonzalo. We're going to have to move on. End it here for today. But
can I ask you a question real quick, BDA?
Yes, please.
Well, I don't know if it's actually like a question, but I always wondered if Mike Tyson kept true to his Muslim faith that he picked up in the prison, or was that all just an act?
It seems to me that was an act because... Well, go ahead, Lucian.
No, I was just going to say, that's a very interesting point.
I think it was a bit of an act because he came out of jail. Remember when on the McNeely fight, there was a guy screaming Allahu Akbar. Well, he wasn't screaming Allahu Akbar. He was fucking it up. But he did become a Muslim in the jail. But then even afterwards, from 95 to about 2008, I think, or maybe even before that, he was on a drug binge. So much for religion right there. He wasn't. the religion made no difference. Maybe in the long run it did, because I think he's still a Muslim, and I think now he does adhere to the faith. But for about 10 years, 13 years there, he was just on a coke binge, prostitute binge, stripper binge, and like it made no difference.
I think that.
All right. Well, okay. I thought he was going to say something. Listen, we're gonna have to end. We're gonna have to end it here. Thank you guys for calling in. I want to give a shout out to Gonzalo, Raul, and Johnny Boy for dropping in. Everybody that dropped in as well. Thank you for and all the callers. Finally got some callers. We didn't have a lot of people on the panel, so he gave us a chance to talk with people on the phone. I want to give a shout out to. Oh, by the way, don't forget to check out the video we did on Lomachenko. Don't forget to check out Bucho's video on Wilder, and weigh in. Do you think he was twerking, or do you think he was doing a classical, ritualistic African dance to show us his prowess? You tell us, man. You tell us. Watch it. Well, like I said, watch the Lomachenko video. We got 2, and we got another one that's coming up real soon. I'm working on it. Might as well work on it now once I'm done with this video, with this podcast. And don't forget to check out the BDA PayPal page, the BDA Patreon page, the Second Renaissance. The most important thing is that you keep on watching the show, spreading the BDA gospel, tell people about it, hit the like button, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and give us some ideas of something you want us to talk about in the next show. Right now, with boxing being scarce, we're exploring all avenues. So feel free to do that. Feel free to call in as well. Again, I want to give a shout out to all the callers. And that's about it, man. Really appreciate you dropping in, listening to the show. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. So I want to give a shout out to Tito Toledo, Straight G Turo, Gerald Jones. Is it Gerald or Gerald Jones? I don't know. With my fucking accent, who cares, right? It's the same thing. Wesley Mitchell, Chip Bud, Tone, Brian Harkin, Hard Recoil. Shout out to Hard Recoil. Grievous. Official Scorecard Boxing was here as well. Shout out to Official. Andres Fernandez, Crazy K, Seamus Carey. BOKS was here as well. Like I said, all the callers. And if I forgot anybody, Cabal T, Triple JJJ. And if I forgot anybody, guys, you know what me, it's not. I don't do it on purpose. It's because we got to go. SSB28 was here as well. Pink Panther, all the guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Keep your chin up. Actually, chin down, hands up. And we'll catch you in the next one. All right, fellas, take it easy. Have a good one.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry. One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.